there, this is where the fights really start to flip, right?
Yes.
And the thing is, for the side of Rain, like even before the Beatrix was activated, the game was looking so good for them that you wouldn't even have to worry about what happens if the Beatrix comes in, right? It looked so comfortable. Enzo on the early game was dominating alongside Boro, but then Wicked said no, that's not gonna happen when I'm here, and he made sure that the side of Rain has become Wicked for them in terms of team fighting, and did come through and just dominated overall. Even though I was starting to say like, hey, that Granger's dominating pretty well, right? But once again, once you take the Beatrix, you win, like you said, right? And it's been proven over and over. No matter how bad the game can go, Beatrix is always there to show up.
Yeah, it it seems to be the case, and I kind of agree to that. Also, at the same time, there's this entire thing, right? Kronos Hoshik on that Edith. Even though he's basically dying a lot of times, he's making sure that he's throwing his body at the right moment so that his team can jump in and deal the damage.
Yeah, I think Hoshik was the kind of the difference maker. Even though he's the one who kind of died the most times, he was able to be that frontline, frontline sandbag that they kind of needed to soak up all the damage, and all thanks to the guiding wind as well. So using the guiding wind, he was able to soak up all the damage and provide the CC that was needed with the Earth Shatter, pick off with the Onward, and that was kind of the difference maker. So yes, he got the lower end of the statistics, but he was the one who had one of the most impacts in the game as well.
Yeah, I agree, and at the same time, Lito on the Hilda, it seems more like if you give this guy a hero that can set the team up for success, that's when he shines really well. But if he's on something along the lines who really needs to just go and sandbag, that's where a bit of struggle comes in. Plus, at the same time, let's just say Hoshek was doing a very good job into panning wherever Lito was, and also trying to disrupt the flow of Tiso on the Granger. Okay.
I mean, yeah, Hoshik on the other is being an amazing. He's the front line that Extremely lacked, right? And he's the one who made most of the. He was the sandbag, the real sandbag, and he was just taking up everything just for the rest of the team to have the space and time to manage and think when to engage. Or like, okay, Hoshik took that many skills, right? Each team, each player has 3 skills. So each team has around 15 skills, right? And he knows that, hey, they used up this many amounts of skills on me. I think the rest of the team can now counter engage and take advantage of that cooldown. And he was doing extremely well on that edit. But now, Lighto, on the other hand, like he said, if he doesn't have a setup EXP laner, he's not gonna shine as how he usually does. And that kind of put Light on the spot. So now on this upcoming draft, personal opinion here, I think they may or may not have picked that Hilda a bit too early. We've seen Hilda first pick several and several times, but I don't think Hilda would be preferred over other XP laners like an Edith or Ruby on Arlott, or maybe even a Phoebus in that case.
I mean, it totally depends because if you really want an EXP laner that set things up for your team, that's when you pick up something along the lines of a Khalid, maybe a Garut Kacha, or something that can actually set your team up for success like a Phobius too. But in cases when you really need someone who can stand back, who can disrupt the other side, and who can constantly move in and out of the fight to try and go for some bit of damage, sandbag, go back heal, go back in. That's when you pick Hilda. I'll have to say, Kronos, and correct me if I'm wrong, Hilda's playstyle is a bit like Uranus. What do you think?
Um,
A bit.
yes and no. Yes and no, because Uranus is kind of the distraction, wants to take away the attention of the team, but Hilda wants to be in your face a little bit more compared to the
Yeah.
split push. So yes, yes and no in a certain way, but similar mindset is what the Hilda brings to the table. But at the same time, I think it's just about how these teams were able to pull it off or not. I think off stream we just spoke about how a Ruby wouldn't be the best option in the roam position currently in the meta, and we got to see that firsthand, did we not?
Yeah, I mean, normally we would see Ruby just doing really, really well in terms of that gold lane as well. There was a meta when Ruby was being played in the gold lane, but it just seems like she's kind of
It
fallen
still
off
works.
a bit at the same time. It still works, but I mean, if you look at it in a certain way now, we've shifted back to the place where gold laners are actually dealing a lot of damage and are being the carry of the game. Since now we've also shifted to a bit of a tank jungle hockey because Fredrin is making his way back in.
I mean, it's
Basically.
still so far for Fredrin to come back, right? Maybe if you wanna play with a tanky jungle, you're better off picking on Akai, right? Akai and Hylos are two still viable tank junglers in that case. Um, but yeah, not for
Crazy.
Fred. I wouldn't go for Fredrin. I would rather have an Akai who's way better at and has a really good early game compared to most of tank junglers, right? But in
Hmm.
that case, I think one thing we could learn is that you prefer Matilda over a Hilda in the first pick.
Yeah, because it
Hmm.
does seem to be the case. If you pick up a Matilda, you kind of get a bit of a leeway rather than a Hilda who's not really helping you out. But boys, one thing that can eventually help out the side of Rain is definitely a big win in the draft in this one and also in the game for us to see the game number 5. I know you're excited for it, so might as well just let you go and have fun in the drafting phase.
Thank you very much, Garriet. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 4, match number 1. And I am pretty excited about this. Will this be a 3-1? Do you think this could be a 3-1? I mean, we've had the blue side on 100% win rate, but do you think this might become a 3-1?
You know what, Hockey? I was about to say that if it's a 3-1, Extremely Slay not only pulled off a big upset against CR7, but against Rain.
They might be the
You gotta you
champions.
you you gotta be kidding me. Someone
They,
pinch me or wake me up from my sleep because I know I'm dreaming. The way that these guys have been going around, the giant slayers for a reason and bringing death upon the other team, the Grim Reaper. Hey, it's starting to add up. To be honest, the
um,
way that they've been going about, and will they live up to the hype? Reign, because we know they're a super team in Europe. Let's not
yeah.
ignore it like it's not true. They're a super team for sure. But the way that it's been going about seems like their synergy is not working out. They're either caught up in their own head at the moment and not find fluidity in the game because they're trying to make the draft work. But it's not like they had a terrible draft. It's just that they're not able to play towards their win condition, which is slightly slimmer compared to the opposition. So at the moment, looking at the bands hockey, nothing new.
Beatrix.
Oh
Beatrix
yeah,
is a
Beatrix.
respect ban. Yeah, the Beatrix is a respect ban right
Yeah,
there, right? They know that Extremist is gonna prioritize the Beatrix over anything else. But looking at the game right now, I think Rain might need, and that is Mr. Death mentality. They need that. They need that morale,
I agree.
right? Right. Mr. Death over here, on the other hand, providing that for Extremists, like making sure that the team is playing on point, and that's what's currently getting them, or making them the Kingslayers, right? They are potentially the champions. So now, as we look at the draft here, nothing too new except for that Beatrix that finally got banned because Beatrix has been everywhere, right? And there is the Fanny. Of course, you cannot ignore the Fanny. No one's gonna ignore a Fanny, especially when there's a rap in the game. But or even Mr. Death in that case, right? Fanny's always a big threat, no matter the player.
Yeah, Fanny's just a broken hero right now in the current meta, especially in Europe, where each and every jungler knows how to play a Fanny and not at your average ranked gameplay. They're really good at Fannies. So all
Yeah.
the teams respecting the other jungler, knowing that, hey, Fanny is a really good hero. It could be devastating in the hands of someone who knows how to play it. So don't want to take the risk whatsoever, completely banning it off. But at the same time, now looking at the fact that Extremely Slay realized the threat that the Hilda was bringing on towards the table, not just going around being a distraction, but also trying to dive into the back line and also being maybe a counter to one of the EXP laners in the form of a Phoveus if possible. So Phoveus definitely looks like a pick that Extremely Slay want to go with this time in the EXP lane just to get some of that prio, create a friendship
Alpha.
composition.
Alpha is open.
Oh my goodness. The
Wait,
Bruno ban?
Alpha's Bruno band.
No
Wait,
way.
come on, Mr. Death. Come on.
Matilda's open as well. Matilda's open as
Matilda.
well. I think first pick Matilda over first pick Alpha. Come on, Hockey. I think we can agree on that.
Hmm.
But they pulled off a victory with the first pick Alpha, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly. I'm just
I
saying,
don't
Alpha
know.
is on the table right now for Mr. Death, and we might see that. And there
Oh.
it is.
Hey.
I knew it. I knew it. All right. Alpha is. Oh, I saw that ban. I was like, oh, Bruno, wait, hold on. Mr. Death is here now. The Grim Reaper is on the reap, and he got that scythe. He got that spear. I mean, and he's ready to kill one after another. Here is the Alpha, and I'm pretty excited now that you see this could be a 3-1 just saying from the alpha pick alone. Of course not. We still have yet to see the rest of the draft, but I'm just that confident in Mr. Death Alpha, man. He always surprises us.
Yeah, I think Mr. Death's Alpha is going to be a problem. And you can see on the other side, they don't want to give it away whatsoever. That Matilda, because if they get that Matilda Alpha combination, they're asking for trouble. But they go for the Harriet once again for, for the side of Tiso. But will it work out? Because we saw that come out, but the last time it was the Beatrix in the hands of Wicked.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the difference maker. At the moment, they did do a brilliant job with that Granger, so they could have gone with the Granger route as well. The Harriet, however, a lane bully indefinitely. So at this time around, what will Wicked pick up in the gold lane? Only a matter of time. But at the moment, looking to pair up this Alpha, maybe they go for another Valentina or maybe a Vexana, a Phoveus, kind of, because he gets the priority in the XP lane now.
And
Oh no!
They're taking away.
Early. It's early.
They're taking it away.
It's early. It's really early. Forcing the Valentina.
Said it, okay?
Yeah, they forcing the Valentina on the other side though.
Exactly, but Scared yet said it, right? It doesn't matter if there's a Valentina against you. It is Bubble on the Fermis. This is a different Fermis we're talking about. This is not your usual Fermis. This is Bubble, and he's the one to cause trouble for the side of Rain right now, right? So here's the thing now. They've gotten the Alpha, they've gotten the Fermis, they've gotten the Phoveus, but once again, you're gonna have Marksman getting banned. You already got the Beatrix banned, you got the Harris, you got the Bruno banned. I think they're gonna ban something that is equally annoying to Harris. I like the Eve and the Matilda combo. These are such a good mid lane roam combo here. The Eve and the Eve and the Matilda, they both poke pretty well, and they are sure fast in that mid lane. So now, yeah, there is Moscow getting banned. I think they're trying to take down Wicked, knowing the potential Wicked could cause for them, the potential trouble, and that is actually a huge respect against Wicked.
I mean, they're targeting him for sure, but what I like about the Eve pickup is that the fact that when you drop the RWM, you have Tiso on this Harriet who's going to be dashing around with the Zaman Force a little more freely than they would want him to. So, of course, with the help of the Guiding Wind, you get a lot more sustain with those shields. So, at the moment, this RWM is looking like a big threat, which could be counteracted with the Netherrealm. But at the same time, they don't really have any sort of a dive coming in from the other side. So if I was maybe Rain, maybe take out the Claude at the moment, although you're going to have a tough lane against the Harriet, you're looking to dive in with the BMI on towards the Eve when she drops the RWM to get that Blazing Duet to dish out the damage. So Ling being taken off from the table from the side of Extremely Slay to kind of... wait a second, that caught me off guard. The Tigreal still going for it. I mean, but you'll still be within that RWM. Makes sense because you want to pull off that counter set. Mm-hmm. But maybe I think we could look at an Edith band coming out from their side as well, from the side of Extremely Slay.
I think an Edith band would be perfect here because Edith benefits not only she actually benefits both sides of the game, right? So I feel like probably Edith ban or another jungler in that case. I mean, you still have Hayabusa on the table, but the Gato Gacha instead. And you know what? Fair, we've seen Laito on that Gato, and he was sure one troublesome Gato Gacha. So it's quite a good ban here. But now you're leaving Edith open, right? And I think Phoveus is still open on. Oh, he's taken actually here. My bad, I didn't see that. Phoveus is not on the table. You have only Edith. You have Arlott, so not much you can play around here on the EXP lane.
Yeah, at the moment it's got Edith. Arlott, I really wouldn't even. I mean, yeah, it's with against the Phoveus, Arlott kind of makes sense. You can even get the CC right now to try and keep them in place with the Yo-Yo Blitz. Curtain call, tie them up together. You kind of don't lose the lane to the Phoveus. You're able to keep up with his rotation. If not, I'll rotate him as well. You get the poke going, but they go for the Arlott instead. So they need the set potential. That is why, because if they had the CC, they would be lacking a lot of crowd control. So at the moment, they go for the Arlott. That final slash could be a problem, but Fermis is going to go for the Purify. So instantly kind of still looking for the lockdown on towards him when he gets that Netherrealm going, or rather the Alpha, because they're lacking the burst at the moment coming in from the side of Rain. Only this jungler final pick might be the difference maker, and looking at it Extremely Slay, they're lacking a gold laner. It could be in the form of What the Moscow's taken, the Bruno's out of the question. The Nathan
Melissa
is
and
still available for
Clint.
them.
Oh, and Melissa and Clint are still on the table. Nathan actually works pretty well here, especially against the Hearth, right?
Hmm.
And
I like
there it is, the
Melissa.
Melissa. Like I mentioned, I think Melissa would be the safer option here, especially when there's a jungle still open and is most likely going to be a close range. Plus on Arlot, I think you want to stay safe, and you still have Bubble on the farms alongside you. I think this Melissa is more safe than ever, actually. And the Grok, as I do like the Grok pick here, it provides space for Bubble here on the farms, and at the same time, it kind of aggressive duo here, right? It's an aggressive duo versus an aggressive duo, but I personally think Matilda and Eve are way more dangerous just because they have the upper distance over the Grok and the Fermis. Now, there it is once again. We've always seen the Nolan versus the Alpha matchup, and we
Mm,
need to see this Nolan have at least 2 levels ahead of the Alpha. He needs to be in front, 2 steps ahead, right? If not, I think
yeah.
he's gonna be in huge, huge trouble.
Yeah, I think that's the big question, right? Will he be able to get that 2 levels advantage that he's looking for? Because when he's 2 levels ahead of the opposite jungler or his jungler counterpart, he's definitely going to do a lot more damage. He's going to rotate faster. And that comes in if he's able to steal some early creeps away from Mr. Death himself. So, right now, looking at the draft, I feel like Extremely Slay definitely have the upper hand because I'm not a fan of this Nolan right now. You're relying a lot on the early game, and if the early game slips away, which is counteracted by the Grok and the Faramis, you might have troubles for the side of Rain. So, Hockey, you say you like Rain. I say I like Extremely Slay. But
The-
at the moment,
I
okay, okay.
used to like Rain, but that Nolan pick is quite questionable. I'm not
I
saying it's
know.
bad, I'm saying it depends on how the game goes. Though I kinda lean over Extremely Slay just because they have the comfort picks they need for this match. They got their Fermis, they got their Alpha, and so they got the Fovies, so I gotta keep an eye for the Fovies, right? The Fovies gonna be
Yeah.
troublesome. But ladies and gentlemen, we are back here into game number 4, and this is gonna be one exciting game. Both teams are going to be on their top performance, especially Rain, because they have to go all out here. If they have any cards, any tricks, they better pull it out right now, or they're never going to show it to us. So yeah,
Yeah, Kingsta, look at that. He's providing the vision that they need, and Rap Fafnir already being pressured as the jungler is not able to get the advantage that he needs right now. He could pick up the Lethal Wanderer, so that's a little bit of an advantage. But at the moment, Mr. Death is going toe-to-toe against him in this jungle clear. And you can see on the bot side, they want to get the ganks on towards the gold lane, and the Wicked aware of that. Thanks to the presence and thanks to the vision and the pressure provided by Kingston. Right now, you can see Rap is not yet level 4, so he's definitely in the back foot. Doesn't have the retribution, and Mr. Death is able to pick it up. And right now, Rap Fafnir already on the back foot as a Nolan. 1 minute, 20 seconds into the game.
we were just saying Nolan needs to be 2 steps ahead. But I fear he might even not be level 4 soon, as
Oh,
more of the jungle
no.
creeps are getting invaded. And this is the power of Grok, right? Grok will zone so much
Ooh.
and make sure you're in trouble most of the time as a jungler. But what a flicker coming in from Kingsta, saving himself here. Nice poke coming in from Rab, but like we said, we might see a level 5 to a level 4 contest from between Mr. Death and Rab Fafnir, especially Rab not having his level 4 and the turtle is almost up. This could put him in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and I think Rap Fafnir already behind, but once to get the turtle started, he does have the damage, and we would see this Nolan have a second sort of a win condition if possible when he is able to farm up in the mid game. But here, Kingstick zones them away with the power of nature. Same time, they try to dish out the damage. Hosik goes in with that, and you can see the RWM drop, but he gets the retribution missed out, and there's first blood coming in from Lito, who's able to use the vengeance to pick up the kill, and he goes for the double as well, while Hoshik on the backside of Rain is trying to dish out the damage, but he gets taken down by Enzo once again. So early game in all 3 games, or rather the 4th one as well, being for Rain. And right now you can see Wild Charge connecting, and he goes down. Rap Fafnir, who got a little greedy, didn't even get the purple buff. Kingsta stole it away, and he had to sacrifice his life. So that is not good for not good news for the side of Rain.
Even though they did have the advantage, unfortunately they didn't make full use of it as Rab. I mean, he could have gotten that purple buff and left, but Kingston on the other side said, no, no, I'm gonna shut that down. I'm a jungle main, and I know what you're gonna do, and he did, right? So that is extremely well played coming here from Kingston, that wild charge and just shutting out Rap in general. But now look at the gold lane, look at Wicked, right? Even though they tried to shut Wicked down with so many bans and whatsoever, he is still doing an excellent performance here, despite having a Melissa against the Hearth, right? Melissa actually still works against the Hearth, but just you're gonna have a hard time trying to catch that Hearth.
Yeah, and this is why hockey. I was talking about then we were talking about Nolan being a bad pick because his
Mhm.
presence in the jungle is completely nullified by the Alpha, by the Grok, and the Phoveus. So right now he doesn't really have any space to breathe, and he's the one that looking to assassinate somebody. And when you go on towards Wicked, he has the go away as well. So you're not really able to dish out a lot of damage. You want to burst them down, but unable to do so because you're already one level behind of Mr. Death and your presence is kind of neutralized completely. And before the second turtle spawns, he wants to get a pick off, but he's not able to get it whatsoever.
Yeah, he's trying as much as he can, but look at
Oh,
this. Kingston might be in trouble, but is immune thanks to that power of nature. And the thing is, right, they gotta now watch out for his next objective, especially Mr. Death on the treachery. He missed it to Enzo last time, one play to Enzo with that real manipulation. Looks like a fight.
Oh, the wild charge connects straight away. And you can see RWM is dropped. Netherrealm is there. The retribution missed it, but the final slash did connect. And at the same time, right now, backing them away. The fight getting extended. Zaman Force dishing out the damage, and Tiso dancing around them. Hoshik going in with the demonic force. Lighto falls down as well. Burrow's left standing a little bit of slightest HP, but the Purify coming out from Tiso helping him survive. No, it does not. Hoshik picks up the double. They're trying to hold on to him a little bit longer. Bubble is there trying to save him as well. It seems like this time the team fight getting tilted once again. It's been back and forth talking, neither team letting go.
Well, the thing is, even though Rain do win that objective, they just don't win that fight, and that's pretty unfortunate for them, right? They managed to win that turtle once again, but unfortunately that overextension puts them on the spot, and looks like circling Eagle onto Wicked. Looks like he might be in trouble, doesn't use the go away yet,
Ooh.
and looks like a backup coming in from Hoshik from the rest of Extremely Slay, making sure to neutralize everything.
Oh, what? Final
Oh, the
slash
final
on towards the
slash coming
top
in, there it
side.
is! And Mr. Death is picked up ever so easily, not only by Light but by Rap, and this puts the top lane in trouble.
Yeah, and seems like at the moment, Lighto has been the one kind of holding it together for the side of Rain from the EXP lane, and the others not really doing a great job at the moment. We were talking about individual matchups that could come in to this game with Rain coming out on top. Tiso definitely, looking a little underwhelming so far over here. Rap has the damage, but the RWM dropped out quite early, and there's the Netherrealm to help him survive. Hoshik, though, slightest bit of HP, no fracture available. Light, though, doesn't want to go in yet, and he doesn't have the final slash. Kingsta could get a big set. And with the wild charge, there it is. You can see the Cuddles and Muddles combination come out. Enzo gets taken down. The kill in the hands of the Grim Reaper himself, Mr. Death, and Bubble wants to go in. Shadow Stampede could pull them back. At the same time, you can see Circling Eagle coming out, and here comes Hoshik with the vengeance, with the demonic forces. The Zaman forces drop down as well. Rap Fafnir wants to get the kick on towards Kingsta, but is not able to do so. He's able to figure out a harm's way. Hoshik went down in the process. The turtle is up, but the final slash connects on towards two, but he goes with the spear of Alpha again. He catches two along with the turtle, and you can see Lighto gets the kill nonetheless, and Boro wants to go in a little more aggressive. They're looking to turn this into an objective. After losing out on the turtle, they want this tier 1 in the mid lane, but unable to do so thanks to Wicked and Bubble. But at the same time, you can see that they're really thirsty for it. Rap Fafnir has a flank angle. Wicked doesn't recognize it yet, and he's closing in on him. There's the fracture, and he picks up the kill. The Netherrealm is a little too late, but Hoshik is there with the demonic force. RWM dropped in from Enzo as well. They're trying to slow them down, and here's the kill. Here's the advantage that they were looking for. Rap Fafnir waited. He bought enough time for himself. He got a triple. He's looking for the Maniac. Does he have the damage? No, he does not. And Hoshik is able to sandbag everything for his team, zoning them away. What a team fight, and what a conversion from Rain.
What an excellent team fight coming in from the side of Rain. Even though they did lose their objective, they had a really good Spear of Alpha coming in from Spear of Mr. Des. The Spear of Alpha there was perfect, but that extended team fight is what they need, right? Rain needed that. As soon as they got down Wicked, as soon as they took down Kingston, they say like, hey, we can probably pick up more and more and more. And this is the Nolan, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Nolan that we have been waiting for. That aggressive Nolan, they getting one after another, right? This is Rap for you. He can be patient for as long as possible just to pull off something like this and hopefully win the game right after, right? So right now, that You know, Rap Fafnir's catching up in farm. He was behind. He was invaded. He got two of his creeps in the early game, but look at him now, right? Thanks to the help of Rain and the fact that they were able to contest and secure two turtles, I think that put Rap Fafnir in such a perfect position from despite having such a bad early.
Yeah, and I think it all came down to the fact that this extended team fight, like you mentioned, but right now you can see that they're moving in together like a unit. The Ube composition coming alive for the side of Extremely Slay, and you can see RWBM's drop down to make sure they can zone them away. That's a big ultimate that's burnt out before the Lord is there. Rap Fafnir's position is something, once again, Wicked should be aware of. Burrow trying to zone them away, forcing them into that corner where Rap is standing right there. At the same time, the Wild Charge comes out with the Flicker, and the Zaman Forces drop along with the Nether Realm. Circling Eagle is there. Rap Fafnir wants to go for the pickup, but unable to do so. Mr. Dead goes in for the Spear of Alpha, but they lose one and they lose two in the process. That's Hoshik and the Grim Reaper himself, unable to live up to the name this time. And Rain able to take control with the pincer maneuver, ever so great. Rap Fafnir waiting in the back line while Bora pushes them from the front and getting squeezed on the sidelines by Laito. What a positioning, what a gameplay, and what immaculate macro coming in from the side of Rain as they're able to pick up the Lord as well.
We are seeing why they have the crown as the logo, ladies and gentlemen, and this is why. This is a gameplay, this is a perfection that we're currently seeing, even no matter how behind, but the Wild Charge coming in and looks like Enzo's in trouble and picked up here by Bubble thanks to Kingston with that amazing Wild Charge coming through, but now they've lost a valuable member, right? They've lost Enzo. The real world manipulation is not going to be available. Do you think they can do, or at least take an inhibitor with that upcoming Lord?
I mean, they're looking to take up an inhibitor for sure because they don't have a lot of tier 2s left, which is just the mid lane and the bot side. I mean, that's 2 out of 3, so they do have a lot left. But at the same time, the bot one is going to fall down, and Rap Fafnir doing his best to make sure he gets that away. Laito, he wants to go in. He has the final slash. And he gets 2 in the process, and NetherRealm there to help them survive. But here comes the Zaman Force as well, and Tiso backed off by the guiding wind from Boro. Meanwhile, Mr. Death in the top side, making sure he can get the clear on the Lord, but the Fracture coming in on towards Wicked, who uses the go away to help him survive for a little bit longer. And the bait was light, though. You can see RWM to zone them away from the tier 2 in the mid lane. Oshik here trying to survive, but he cannot. He gets wiped back in to that real world manipulation, and the damage being done from Tiso with the Zaman Force as well to zone them out. And right now, they're trying to get this tier 2 in the mid lane. The Lord has already gone down, so they're not able to get an inhibitor. And for some reason, Extremely Slay still able to hold on to that tier 2, which should be falling down at any second. But that's a job well done on their side because they're able to successfully pull off the defense. But you can see that big Wild Charge along with the Flicker. And here come the Wombo combo from the side of Extremely Slay. They pick up one. No, they do not. They lose one instead, and that's Mr. Death. And right now, Kingston should be the one to fall. That's a double kill on towards Enzo. Laito wants to go in, but Wicked with the go away. They're all so low as they have the NetherRealm to help them survive. Laito just dashing in and out, but he gets shut down by Bubble. What gameplay coming in, and Tiso able to pick up the third. So 3-for-1 trade as they lose the inhibitor in the top side.
It looks like they're gonna be falling one on the bottom side as well as played, right? But it doesn't look like they're committing that much to it. And what an extended team fight of Fracture coming in, trying to get as much damage as possible on Wicked. And you can see Rap is trying to be as threatening as possible, not only to Wicked but to Bubble as well, right? And that's what causes them to use a skill, use a resource, just enough for Rain to start a fight and make it overextended. And that puts them in such a good position since they have continuous fighting here. They have the Arlot, you have the Eve, you have the Hearth, and looks like the Wild Charge coming in with the Spear of Alpha. Boro might be a pick off, and there it is. He's not gonna be free from that curse, from the puppet itself coming in from Wicked.
Yeah, and you can see right now they're trying to extend the team fight. They go in with the Demonic Force as well, but the RWM is dropped. Tiso trying to survive for some reason, but no, he does not. He gets taken down. The NetherRealm helping them survive a little bit longer, but here comes Rap from the behind, and he goes in on towards Kingsta. The Fracture is there to make sure he's unstoppable, but they lose Laito as well. He's the only one that's left standing, and I think they want to go on towards him. Wicked with the Cuddles and Middles combination gets the shutdown, and they get the 5-man wipeout. This could be the end that they were looking for. Extremely Slay There are 5, and the only one left standing is Boro himself. But they go for the circling eagle, trying to zone them away. Boro buying enough time, but he gets taken down. The base crystal left exposed.
Oh!
Extremely Slay looking to pull off the upset,
Oh!
and they do with the 3-1, taking down the Giants of Rain. Oh my goodness, what a
What
game,
a
what a
game!
series!
What a series! What a game! What was that? Scared yet?
Breathe, boys. Breathe. I know what you're going through. I absolutely can feel you right here, Kronos. I can feel you, Hockey. But breathe. Calm down. It happened. What was that? My God, this team is absolutely insane. I can't really. Yeah, all we can do right now is literally just slow claps. Man, oh man. Picking up a Melissa into Eve, and that too when it's a killbox composition on the other side with an Arlet and a Nolan. And even after that, winning the game when the Lord is not in your favor. The resilience by Extremely Slay is absolutely unreal.
I have to tell you this. The resilience is higher than ever. That's because, come on, we talked about this. They have Mr. Death. Alright, he
True.
is there, and the leadership is beyond insane. This man is a true leader, right there, leading his team to win against even the fiercest of teams, right? And that's what we've seen right now. Extremely Slay, even though the fights weren't in their favor for most of the matches, they have overextended fights, fight, and you have Rain winning almost every single one of them. But one
Yes.
fight is all they needed. One advantage is all Extremely Slay needed, just so they can surprise us like this.
Just one mistake of overcommitment from the side of Rain. They just overstayed a bit and then got punished, even though since the first minute it was clearly visible that Rain are the ones who are probably going to take this one home. But man, the sets coming in from Kingsta on that Grok was mind-blowing, Kronos.
Hey, you know what I gotta say, Scared? We doubted them. We doubted Kingsta most of all the entire time because he shifted from a jungler to a roamer. But you gotta put respect on his name for going toe-to-toe against one of the toughest roamers in the continent of Europe, and that is Boro himself. He has international experience. He's played the MPL, for God's sake, and this guy was able to go toe-to-toe against him. Yes, he wasn't the MVP, and the MVP being Wicked, of course, with his Melissa, which was a pocket pick that he pulled off from somewhere, and you can see the Cuddles and Muddles combination just being an absolute dominating force over here, the covering the gap and making sure to dish out the damage when it was needed, and he flickered forward as well when he wanted to do so in the end, and all thanks to the space that's created by Kingsta. And right now, if anyone had a doubt about Extremely Slay, even us casters, analysts, production team, along with the audience, you know, we all expected Extremely Slay to go out in the first round against CR7, but they held on. They made the reverse sweep possible. Now we expected them to go down against a Rain. And looking at the fact that they made it a 3-1 against a star-studded lineup of the super team of Europe, yeah, these guys are a different beast, and I think it all comes down to the mentality that Mr. Death brings on the table, Scared. But of course, Wicked, what a wicked gameplay.
You know, you've done a great job when you basically make that Indian accent come out of Kronos' mouth, even if it's for just one word.
Hey, yo, it's for a split second because I want to try and drink some water to get my throat a little hydrated and moist again. But
I got,
yeah,
I got that. That's all I'm saying. But
it
seriously,
is what it is.
I 100% agree with all of the pointers that you mentioned, with the way how Wicked was playing, how Hoshik was throwing his body up front. Mr. Death knew he cannot deal the amount of damage that you expect him to. So he just decided he's going to play for the objectives, and then he's going to just throw his body away, just like how Kingsta was also doing. But man, Hockey, Kingsta taking 30% of that damage. That's Kingsta. Yeah, I agree. And man, yet again, it's a situation where I was really not expecting Rain to lose this one, because Here's the thing, Kronos, you look at the composition, you look at all these picks. I think so. I kind of understand that. All right, Grok, Faramis, Mr. Death on the Alpha, Oshik on the Phobius works really well, really good. All dive composition. You just want to go all guns blazing, gung ho, and you want to jump into the enemy's backline on their faces. But picking up a Melissa in this composition was something that I felt was not really good. I personally feel a Claude would have been absolutely nightmaric. But the skill box composition of Rain still did not work out.
I mean, it's the fact that the kill box composition that came in from Rain would have worked out minus the jungler or Nolan. Because I think they've tried it 2 games in a row, if I'm not wrong, 3 games in a row, and they lost out on Nolan all 3 games. Because although Rap Fafnir, I mean, not throwing shade at him, not underestimating whatsoever, his Nolan is one of the top tier Nolans that we have in Europe. Is just the fact that it wasn't the right pick in this scenario, and you could go for better picks in out of the 100 or 100 plus heroes that's there in the game. Of course, they're not all in the meta, and Nolan has a specific win condition. But why would you want to, confine yourself to sticking to the one possible win condition? So, of course, you got to make sure you give your team a little more room to play with. Unfortunately, they did not do that because the limited hero pool that Raf Fafnir has, as he's more of an assassin jungler rather than a fighter and a tank, which the meta is in which direction the meta is evolving into. But I mean, not taking away any credit from the side of Extremely Slay whatsoever. Going toe to toe against one of the best roamers in Europe with Boro, Kingsta pulled off an absolute amazing performance. And like you yourself, and along with Hockey and myself, said that Kingsta gets better as the games go by. I mean, this was exactly proof of that.
I agree because again, we've been also constantly mentioning that how I personally want to agree with the point that Nolan is not that very good, but at the same time, I think so it actually works really well in the skill box, right? Because you want to keep the enemies in a confined area and you want as much of that AoE as possible. You get that with the Harith, with those constant chrono dashes as well. And again, you also get somewhat of that with an Alert because he's basically there to make sure everyone stays in that kill box after the RWM is dropped. And we saw him multiple times pulling that one big play out as well. Like there was a fight that was happening over towards the orange buff of Extremely Slay, I remember, and at that moment we also saw the Phobius almost running away, but then that one final slash just pushed him on the other side of the wall. So I think so the idea was good. It just came down to that execution and just one mistake at the end.
Yeah, I agree here. One mistake is all it took for Extremely Slay to come back from the game, right? And that just shows that they can punish as well. Right, at a few moments we've seen Extremely Slay not being able to punish a few mistakes here and there, but now they've learned, they've adapted during that, and they're like, all right guys, we need to take full advantage, full aggressiveness when something goes wrong. And they were able to do that perfectly. They were so patient, even though it looks like they were losing the entire game. They were so patient for just a teeny crack into the door just to get through that, and they were able to get through that perfectly, and that's what put them up front being the Kingslayers. They don't even need to be Kingslayers anymore when they're gonna be the kings soon of the league.
Ooh, what if they don't want to be the king? What if they really want to just be the emperor, There's light cavalry waiting for them, there's C and Q waiting for them. I know Kronos, you're asking me to calm down, but imagine a team that no one really thought would actually move forward from the first round, but they've constantly been defining the odds against CR7, a reverse sweep of 3-2, and then against Rain, one of the top contenders, and that too 3-1. That's a big statement.
Yeah, that is a huge statement. I did call a 3-1, but once again, I did say depends. I was leaning mostly on Rain, but I am surprised that Extremely Slay were able to pull off such performance, and they're now a huge threat in Europe.
Yeah, and Kronos, before we jump onto the interview, and I probably think it's gonna be Wicked, ready for that. Is there anything that you kind of want to ask from him?
I mean, from Wicked, to be honest, you should probably ask once again who was the one with the mentality this time. Because last time he said it was Mr. that brought it all, and this time I honestly feel like Kingsta just pulled up with a different kind of, he woke up in the right side of the bed. I feel like compared to yesterday, and the
Yeah.
way that he played his game, the way that he made sure that his team was there. You know what? His Grok flicker wild charges weren't the best in that given position in that circumstance, but it was something that he gave to his teammates, and his teammates are so well individually rounded that they were able to turn it into an advantage. And I think a split second is all you need in Mobile Legends Bang Bang, and that's what he provided them. And also the separation in the early game, the pressure is something he could have done. So knowing the hero compositions and how to make it work was really well. But of course, a Wicked on that goal lane, you should ask him, why is Beatrix his favorite? Why is Beatrix his favorite?
I'll probably ask him that. I will definitely ask him that because he's been very comfortable on the Beatrix. We've been seeing it for the past 2 games too. I mean, in game number 2 and 3, we saw that Beatrix just entirely take control of the whole game in general. And more towards the end as well, on the Melissa, even though the composition on the other side is basically an anti-Melissa comp, he was still able to perform really well. So I kind of think that if not the best golden eye, I think so Wicked has slowly made his way into the top 5, maybe even in the top 3.
Mm, that is true. You know, one question I do have for Wicked though is, what is one single advice that you can give to other gold laners that makes you better the most, right? Because you don't get to see many performances despite the picks, right? I don't think picks even matter for this guy. Give him any gold lane and he'd still perform just as amazing as ever, right? So that's the question for him, is what makes you better the most? What is one advice you can give to amateur or maybe even pre-pro gold laners that should make your level way better than what you currently are?
Wish I had my notebook and the pen here so that I would have noted it down for myself. But yeah, I'll definitely ask him that question as well. But again, boys, this was about this game, but we've still got one more, and that's again one of the top teams. That's going to be Birthright, holding up
Mhm.
against Onic and Hockey. I don't think so. You'll be there for the next game with us. So before I ask you, I kind of want to ask Kronos, what's your view about that? Who do you think is winning that, Birthright or Onic? Because they're both 3-0'd their opponents yesterday.
I don't know who's gonna win, but I feel like it's gonna be as exciting as this series. Either 5 games or either 3-1. But maybe I would still stick with Birthright because of their consistent performance so far in Europe. Like they've been one of the most consistent teams, and I feel like they always have something go for their side. And consistency is a big factor. But of course, Onic UA with the gameplay they showed us last night, not to be underestimated.
True. And I kind of think now, since you basically said Birthright might take it home with a 3-2 or a 3-1 fashion, I'm gonna say that it might actually be Onic picking that one up because again, just how solid they were playing, and plus at the same time, since you predicted Birthright, so it's evident now we're gonna see probably Onic taking it home because I'm just kidding out there though. Hockey, what about you? Who do you think is winning the next one?
I've seen the games, and to be honest, Onic is a huge threat, but I'm in favor of Birthright. I've seen Birthright. I think well, my personal opinion on Birthright winning this, I think it's just because of experience alone against Onic, and that the power of teamwork that they have together, I think could potentially lead them for the victory here.
I agree, boys. Before we say bye to both of you, any last few words? Kronos, you first.
Hey, we'll see you soon with the next series. But of course, at the moment, the Wicked, I'm excited to listen to what you got to say about what questions Scared it got for you.
I mean, all right, Hockey. Now, you already showed your heart. I don't know I make it good or not, but yeah, any last few words before you hop off for the evening.
I'd like to thank everyone here behind the scenes and the casters and everyone who's watching, and I'm glad to cast along each and every single person. Love you all.
All right, perfect. But thank you so much for that, Hockey. Thank you for that, Kronos. That's a beautiful Korean heart you made. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it from the caster's desk right now. But we've got a few things for you, and now that's going to be the interview with the member, with the MVP of the entire series probably, and the one of the best gold laners out in Europe, Wicked from Extremely Slay. Let's welcome the man with the drum roll that Kronos is beating, even though we can't hear it. But hey, Wicked, what's up? It seems like you're getting habitual of constantly showing up at the interview, aren't you?
I mean, not really. I didn't expect all of this. I'm just very surprised.
Wow, it's not just you as well, it's the entire community, all the casters, the production, everyone is so very excited, and they all were just hyping their lungs out when you were winning it. How were you feeling in those last moments when you knew you've got the game in the bag and the series in the bag?
I mean, listen, my whole squad was shouting. Like everyone freaked out. They were like, "How is this happening? How is this happening? We're so good. We made it through. We worked our hardest. We just did it all, bro."
Perfect. And the hard work always pays off and it shows on the stream as well. Now, do you think this is the peak of Extremely Slay? Or is there still some card? Are there still a few aces up your sleeve that you might show us in the next stage?
Excuse me? Can you tell me? Can you ask that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah. So is this the best performance of Extremely Slay? Or are we going to see something more in the playoffs?
I mean, we're definitely gonna cook something up. This won't be the last thing. We're definitely gonna play way better in playoffs.
Mhm.
And yeah, they
Okay.
better prepare because we're not giving them any mercy.
That's perfect. It's gonna be lovely to watch you in the playoffs. Uh, Riddle me this: who made the smart play in the entire game? And did you guys plan it, or did you just get lucky? Specifically over towards that end in that last team fight, was someone going in for those calls and said that we will make this play, or was it all random? It was like in the moment.
I mean, definitely Kingstar. Are you kidding me? That Grok, the ultimate, the wild charges, like they were just crazy. I mean,
Mhm.
we all made sure to follow up. It's like we just knew when he wanted to go in. He always had a very good like comms when he wanted to go in with the wild charge. We definitely wanted to find the Eve, and that's what he did every time.
I mean, understanding the kill box composition is a big thing. So kudos to Kingston, all of your team actually playing against that one and still winning it. So tell me one thing: do you think the other teams fear you now after this performance, or they are just lucky that they haven't faced you yet?
I mean, I think most people thought that. I mean, they probably still do think that Rien is the best team in EU, right? But if you see someone beat them, then I think logically you would fear them, right?
You definitely are the types, where Extremely Slay is now a team that is gods of comeback. Slowly and steadily, you're becoming the gods. Dropping game one, winning the next three. That's very solid. Do you think that some teams, some other EU teams, they rely too much on just one player to carry them?
Hmm. I mean, I'd say on like no offense, okay. Yet again, no offense. I love to face this squad. I've always loved to face them in scrims, right? But I low
Mhm.
key feel like they Birthright is relying heavily on Urek, my guy.
Okay, they're ready to play the next game. So hopefully they've got some few things because it's gonna be a difficult series for Urek. I agree. All right, so we've been already taking up a lot of your time. I just want to ask one last question. Is there a specific team or specific player that you guys are preparing for that could be a big problem in the future?
I mean, not necessarily. We're prepared for every team in general, like because I think they all deserve to be respected. They show that they should be fair, and you should always be well prepared for them.
True, true, perfect. And that's some wise words coming in from you, Wicked. And it was amazing watching you play yet again, specifically on the Melissa. Just one last question. That's cute. I am being a bit more curious about it.
Mm.
The Melissa pick was against an Eve. It does not really work, but you still made it work. How did that happen?
I mean, we just had to cheese pick, right? Because like, we needed something. We needed a late game, but uh, it was like it was probably just a cheese pick. We were debating what should we pick, and I just suggested a Melissa, and then Kingstar just agreed. So we decided to go for the Melissa, and I was pretty confident I
Mhm.
could pull it off with her. So, and I just did.
Yeah, true. You did definitely a very good job in that, because normally it's going to be even more difficult. But all right, thank you so very much for that, Wicket. We really appreciate you being here. It was my pleasure to interview you again. Hoping that probably in the future, in the playoffs as well, we'll still sit and talk. So good luck for the future, because now the competition is with teams like CNQ and again Light Cavalry. So good luck for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Wicked from the side of Extremely Slay. But that's about it for the first series. We've still got one more series remaining, 5 potential games between Birthright and Onic. So make sure you stay tuned. After the short break, we will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Yo, yo, yo. What up, CC? Sorry, I'm I'm in a Discord too with all the casters and shit. You're gonna be surprised about something when you guys see me on when you see me on stream. I might mute this shit. What up? What up? I tried joining that link in the link thing, and it still just did the black screen. Yeah, like same as yesterday. I don't know if you gotta create me a link again. Yeah, it's still. Oh nope, there it is. It popped up. Jesus, that's loud. All right. Yeah. I'm in. Eh. You're gassing them up too. The super team. Yeah. I used the first link. It worked this time. Sounded like Yoda. Why'd the game start so late? Ah, I like. mm. As long as you learn from your mistakes. Airport, airport, airport. Ben Ren.
The unexpectedness and the randomness of the entire tournament has been at its peak, ladies and gentlemen. And if this is not the best evening, I don't know what's going to be, with Extremely Slay winning the series out against Rain. That's one of the biggest upsets that we ever thought could happen, but it eventually did. And guess what? To relive those moments, this time on MESL, we've got the man himself, Synth. How are you doing, man? You're not on the disc this time, but it's so fun to have you here for the India segment. How are you?
Yeah, thank you so much, Scared. I mean, there's a lot of things that I just want to say. First of all, what an insane game that was. I cannot believe what I just seen. Rain losing. I mean, nobody had expected that. Wow, I'm really happy to be here, and thank you, Scared. It's an honor. That just has me breathtaking. Thank you so much. Wow.
It's a pleasure to be here with you, Synth, as well, because I know there's quite a lot of things that are on your mind for not just the previous series, but also for the upcoming one. And I think so it's best that we talk about that series too, because some fans feel that Onic is overhyped. Do you agree with that, or are they going to prove themselves today?
Well, first of all, I have said, and I will stand with my word, I believe that Onic UA may be the best team in the tournament. They 3-0'd Astral. A lot of teams thought that Astral would perhaps beat them and so on, because Onic UA is in a different position. They're coming from a different kind of, they're playing in the Ukraine servers, and it's not so common to play against them, so they're practicing with different opponents. But I gotta say, Onic UA is insane. We saw it yesterday. Zayn had a lot of things to say, and wow, Astral got beaten hard. So I've said it. I told Lemon a long time ago. I said Onic UA may be the best team in the tournament. After seeing how Rain played, I mean, that just reassured what I believed. So I don't think they're overhyped. I definitely feel it's better to believe that they are the best ones than to underestimate them, because you're gonna get punished, just like Astral got punished yesterday. So definitely, I believe the Onic UA may be the best team in the tournament.
I see. I like the fact that you also mentioned about the fact that Zayn on the interview, he had quite a lot of stuff to say, but could not prove it into the game. What do you have to say about that? I mean, in the
I
interview, he
mean,
used quite a lot of harsh words, but
I
not
mean,
translate to the game.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I think Zayn just he was feeling himself. You know, I don't wanna be too harsh, but I think he was feeling like, you know, he didn't have, you know, sometimes when you don't have to play the opponents, you know, you can say whatever and it feels good at the moment, but then when you have to face up to them, it's a different story. And I think here he learned the hard way, and yeah, but Onic UA definitely should not be underestimated. I mean, they're one of the best teams. I think the roster silencer now playing very good. Also, Pankrat want to highlight their goal. There's a lot of things happening in that roster. You definitely need to watch out for both the in-game, like the skills that they have, the micro and the macro. The communication is insane. You need to be careful. I think Birthright is coming in. They're having a new roster. They're playing against Onic UA. They kind of need to be careful, I would say. But definitely, I mean, Zayn had a lot of things to say. I think everyone saw that. We shouldn't be too harsh on him. I think it's better to feel like you are the best team and you are coming into here thinking that you're winning. Now, I'm not sure if you should come off as disrespectful, but definitely coming in here in the tournament thinking that you're gonna win is the right attitude. But that was a little bit on overboard, I would say. You should definitely not disrespect these Ukrainians at all, especially not Onic UA. I mean, they're insane.
Agreed. I mean, there's a very thin line between confidence and overconfidence, I guess. That's where, you know, Zayn fell a bit on the other side. But here's one thing. If you had to pick, since one team that is going to make it all the way to the grand finals, which team do you think would that be? Because we've basically confirmed 3 teams right now for the playoffs. Light Cavalry, CNQ, and then Extremely Slay. So if you had to pick one team that's going to the finals, who would it be?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think Onic UA will go to the finals. But I'm going to give you another team. Scared yet? I'm going to give you another team. Extreme Slay is also going to go to the finals. I don't believe CNQ or Light Cavalry is going to beat them. There is no way.
Okay.
There is no way. I'm going to tell you right now. And just from seeing their performance and seeing what they can do, they look very sharp. I mean, I don't know. They need to be careful about especially their marksmen, but also about their jungler. I definitely think I'm going to give you the prediction very early. So people might correct me. They might say, you know, later on that I'm totally wrong. But I'm going to say Onic UA will play against Extreme Slay in the finals. And I could be wrong today. That could be breaking up today because they're playing Birthright. And a lot of people think Birthright might you know, have at least be a little bit competitive, maybe take a game, maybe win. You know, there's a lot of different people thinking that they potentially can win. I believe that Onic UA and Extreme Slay might play honestly in the finals, honestly. So that's my prediction.
That's quite a solid one, right? Because not most of the people would think that. There's Light Cavalry, CNQ. People would probably make the guesses that they might move forward. But I think so. I'm going to agree with some part of it, of what you said, because of the way how Extremely Slay have been playing. They are constantly showcasing that they are the giant slayers, constantly winning against the teams where odds are never with Extremely Slay. So I could see that happening in one of the multiverses. That's what I'd say. And probably this is the one that we're constantly talking about. But here's the thing, you know, for the side of Extremely Slay, I think so the MVP is Wicked. He's been playing absolutely out of his mind. But overall, if you would have to pick one player till now in MESL that you would say that he is the MVP of this entire tournament, who would that player be?
I mean, it's very hard to say because that definitely would have to be a player still in the tournament. And I believe that we prove ourselves, like we recognize the MVPs in the difficult games. I have to say Rusik. I have to highlight Rusik. And I also have to highlight, again, a player that you mentioned, Wicked. You have to highlight him. Now, if we start with Rusik, I believe that for his team, he's been very important on the XP lane. Especially he's won every kind of matchup I've seen him. He's played against CR7. He's played against all of the different teams. He's never lost the XP lane, and it seems as if he always rotates in the right timing. So definitely want to highlight Rusik as one of the MVPs so far. He's played phenomenal in every game. And also Wicked. I believe that these two last matches, you know, now against Rain, but even against CR7 going up against Permetronio. He definitely proved that he's to compete. I was talking to some friends just now, and I was talking to them, and we were discussing just Wicked and how great of a marksman he is. Not because he's so much better than everyone, but it seems as if in the important moments he doesn't choke. He doesn't choke. He calculates the movement perfectly, and that is definitely something that you need. You know, in important games, it's easy. You know, for example, just now Boro has gone to MPL. You know, we know that he's better than a lot of players still in the tournament. That's no disrespect. That's just achievements and overall experience. But you can also, you know, get too overconfident, maybe not care too much if you're not motivated enough. I don't know what happened, but you know, you need the kind of things that, you know, you need to be prepared in all of the things. And I believe that Wicked has shown, and also Rusik have shown these kind of things that are so far MVP worthy, I would have to say, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I'll not go against any of that, because even I think Wicked has been shining into the moments where don't really expect him to. Like a Melissa into a E matchup, I never really could think in any of my wildest dreams that a Melissa would win. But guess what? Even in the kill box, Melissa survives with the go away. So I agree. And Rusek,
I also had said, and I also had said scared. Remember when I had when I was talking to T, so I also had said a lot of people are gonna think that you're gonna be the reason why Extreme Slay can win this game. And fast forward, I'm not blaming anyone, but I'm saying that was a big opportunity for Wicked to shine, because he is the more experienced gold lane, and that's what he did. He took advantage of it. They banned out a lot of gold lanes. Rain has never wasted as many bans on the gold lane as they did in this match. I mean, Bruno was banned, Beatrix was banned, Moskov was banned, everything was banned. He had to. The reason he picked Melissa was not because he thought it was a good pick. There was no other reason. There was no other marksman. It had to be Melissa, or it had to be Nathan. Nathan a little bit more riskier in the early game. He just picked Melissa because he thought, you know, there's no other option here. Well, what am I gonna do? But definitely that was a big, you know, he shined right there, and Tiso was, you know, just it was just not his day, I would say.
Yeah, we could say that. It was not his day. Rain were not really feeling themselves as well at the same time. You could say we never really thought they would be put in such an uncomfortable position. They crumbled under the pressure. But since we're on the topic of crumbling under the pressure, Birthright is a team that performed on the SPS stage as well when it was between EU and MENA region. They came third. So they definitely have got this title on their head and a bounty on their head as well. Do you think in the matchup against Onic in the next one, Birthright is going to crumble under the pressure, or are they going to prevail?
100% they're going to crumble. 100%. I don't mean now, I got to come off like I'm speaking from just what I'm seeing, experience, and my years of playing the game. I think 100%. They're going to find out that Onic UA is a different team for different reasons. First of all, they changed their jungler. When you change their jungler, you need to kind of change everything because the comms are changing. And I know for a fact they changed the jungler to a guy that is not as experienced. I'm not saying he's better or worse. I'm just saying it's an experience difference there. Now, he might play better. We're going to have to see. But they did that change, so they're going to have to adjust. Another thing is Onic UA is just coming off wins. They're looking at this. They've crushed every opponent they've played. Now, Birthright have been looking. They've won. I think they won yesterday. But I saw a lot of things yesterday that you can kind of take opportunities. You know, if they make the same kind of plays, they can still get punished. The issue Birthright had yesterday was there was playing a team that they had much more experience, so there was no conversation that they would win, or I think everybody predicted them to win. Now they're playing a team with let's talk about just having the same experience. They're playing monsters right here. I mean, these guys are playing professionally. Onic UA is playing professionally in the Russian league, and these guys, Silencer especially in the mage. You also have Pankrat, really experienced players. Leave me, they're very sharp. And the communication yesterday we saw when we saw them play, they're very good and they're very knowledgeable when to take the engages and when not to. And when you're Birthright here, especially if you're the jungler, you need to kind of prepare. You need to have really good communication. But definitely, I think Onic UA is they're gonna if they show up, if they're prepared, they're gonna have to, you know, Birthright's gonna have to work. They're gonna have to work really hard to take even a game, I would say.
True, true, true. You know, I mean, we're also running short on the clock because of the technical issues, but I still
Yeah,
want to ask you one last question, Synth. You mentioned about the preparation. Now, I want to ask
yeah,
you, if you were in the shoes of Onic players, how would you
yeah,
prepare for this one series and for
yeah,
possibly the playoffs that they'll probably make? So, how would you prepare
yeah.
if you were in their shoes?
I mean, definitely. First of all, you can look at the tournament games. I think a lot of games have been streamed. There's at least like
Yeah.
4 or 5 games to look through on everyone. And the second of all is you kind of want to play the teams that have gone out. I think Rain is a really good team to practice and scrim against. I think you know, you should take the opportunities to kind of play light cavalry and kind of play CNQ. The people who have scrimmed against the kind of teams that you're gonna play against, especially if you're a Ukrainian team, you want to kind of fill out Europe region a little bit more. And also, if you're Europe, if going up against Onic UA, you need to kind of practice against CR7 and these kinds of squads to fill out how are the Ukrainian meta and how different is it. So definitely, you kind of want to practice against similar teams in the region, and also you must look at the videos. You need to look at the streams. Just now in this, you know, in this stream, we have a lot of games from every team basically. So there's a lot of things that to prepare for. You know, there's a lot of things that you can gain info from.
Agreed, agreed. Thank you so very much for those insights, Synth. And again, as I mentioned, it's a pleasure to be here with you and to talk to you as well. It was a really fun interview segment. Just before we go, any last few words for the audience or for the team production, for any of the teams that are participating?
No, just first of all, thank you guys for having me. It's always a pleasure. Scared Yet, G, Aiko, I mean, Kronos, Hockey, Lemon, you guys are all doing a fantastic job. And just good luck to all the teams. I mean, you cannot underestimate anyone. We just saw Rain get beat here by Extreme Slate.
Yeah.
And, you know, you cannot underestimate anyone. You need to kind of prepare. And also shout out to my friends. I mean, I have a lot of friends watching. Different, Noel, CL, Junior, all of the people. Yeah, just shout out to everyone. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing who's gonna win. I've made a lot of big statements now. I hope
Yeah.
I hope they're coming true because I need to be right, or else I might end up like Zayn.
I mean, you never disrespected anyone, so that's one thing. But thank you so very much for that, Synth. And ladies and gentlemen,
No.
that was Synth, the special guest, the man who's been in the scene for such a long time. But now, since we're talking about the matchup, we're talking about two of the giants. Let's get ready to bring both of them on the stage. And for those two giants, we've got to get two solid casters on the desk as well. So for now, we're gonna say bye-bye to Synth, and we're gonna bring in G the Aiko and Kronos on this desk right now. I know both of them are waiting out there, but guess what? In 3, 2, 1, they'll be here on the desk. My goodness, the timing could never be perfect. But one thing surely is, and that's the outfit of both of these handsome boys. How are you doing, Aiko?
What up? What up? Scared Yet, man? You're always gassing us up so great. I love it, dude. Like it's it's amazing to have you as our host. Thank you, thank you. Feeling great. It's good to be back here again, and I'm also again with Kronos, man. How you feeling?
Hey, fantastic, bro. Fantastic, absolutely. And like you mentioned, Scared always gassing us up, making sure we get hyped up before the game starts. And of course, Synth as well, given what he should when he can. He's been in the community for such a long time, so take his words with a grain of salt. That's all I would say. But of course, I think we're ready to rumble, Scared.
Absolutely true. You can see the timer up on top of my head as well. So we've still got a minute and 45 to talk about what could possibly happen. And, you know, I know both of you love to talk a lot, including me as well. So, Aiko, I am going to ask you for the predictions quickly because Kronos is going to take an entire minute. So you've got 30 seconds to tell me who is winning the next game, Birthright or Onic?
I'm just going with Onic, right? Just Birthright. I guess I heard from Synth saying that it looks like they're a little bit of a new team, new players on there, not new team in general. So I liked Onic's gameplay style. So we'll see.
I mean, I kind of agree as well. That's in definitely hype up Onic, but To be honest, I don't really feel that Birthright is such an easy opponent, Kronos, right? Because I'm expecting the series to go full 5-mapper.
Yeah, I've been saying this time and again that Birthright are here for a reason. They've been seeded for a reason as well. They're one of the top teams that have been consistent throughout the European competitions every single year, every single season. So of course you're gonna expect them to come up with the best players, even if they've got a new team or a new roster. But at the same time, looking at Onyx gameplay that we saw last night, yeah, I'm not gonna, count them out for sure because they came in with a different ball game completely. So yeah.
True, I agree. They were doing absolutely crazy stuff out there. So if you had to predict, Kronos, and you do not need to get diplomatic now, I'm not gonna allow you to be diplomatic. Choose a team who's gonna win the next game and with what scoreline.
All right, first game, Onic. Let's go game at a time.
All right. I mean, we're gonna show up either ways after every single game. So Kronos thinks first game's gonna be Onic. Aiko already thinks that Onic could potentially close this one out. Even I think so. Onic has actually got a very solid possibility of winning it. Rin thinks the same thing. Hockey thinks the same. Now let's see if that's actually going to happen, or is it going to be Birthright pulling off an Uno reverse on everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, match number 2 on MESL. Let's jump into the draft of game 1.
Hey, look at that. Scared it just like a magician. He says it and we're there. But but anyway, G, you're looking fresh. You're looking nice up and early. At least I know it's bright over there. I like the nice clean look you got going on. It's been a while.
I had to cosplay you,
Hey yo. I mean, it doesn't technically grow much for me. It's the genes, But I get what I get. But at the same time, I feel like this series though, G, this series it's not very awaited one, of course, but at the same time, it is definitely one to watch out for. Onic, you saw what they could do last night. Birthright, it's a new roster. Like Sin said, they're not probably one of the strongest teams right now, but they've been consistent for a really long time. And if you've been a consistent team, that means you have a nice organization. You have a nice backbone to try and get the recruitment done at the right time. So it could be something to watch out for because most of these names are a little new to me as well, apart from Urek. But I think Urek is the one that they'll be relying upon for a lot of things in this game.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think I've seen Danny on BR before. I'm not. Was he on BR?
Yeah, Danny as well. Danny, My Lobby, and Urek. Yeah, 3 of them.
Yeah. I was about to say they definitely, some of them were looking familiar. So we'll see. I mean, first bans that we are seeing is the Belric, right? The Fanny, of course, the Fusion. Getting some of those heavier picks off the board first. Again, I kind of want to. This is, of course, the first game of this series, so I want to see like where their mindset is here, because Onic is just like from yesterday. Their macro is insane. So to be honest, I think if they have a solid lineup, a good CC, like they're gonna control it. That was a Hilda. It looked like a rhino. I was like, what is that?
I mean, kind of does with the armor she's got on for herself, like tough,
Yeah.
if I'm not wrong. But yeah, I mean, looking at the ban so far, they take away the Beleric, which we saw do wonders last time. 2 games in a row, they picked up the Beleric, so they don't want to deal with it whatsoever. So that's a respect ban definitely coming out right now. The Beleric, the Fanny, the Edith as well being taken off the table by Birthright. They don't want the Fanny for themselves. So Fanny, 100%. I mean, what? 2 games? Apart from 2 games, it's 100% banned out. So 50% win rate, if I'm not wrong. But the other side, they take away the Zushin and the Hilda. The Hilda is going to be more of a poke, dive, kind of a hero, and been annoying, really, in the Land of Dawn right now. But they have the Suyo open and the Eve as well, but the Eve being taken off. So what do you think about the bans, G? Standard or a little left field?
I mean, I think they're standard from what we've seen yesterday. Birthright definitely doing their study and getting rid of the Edith, So it's I didn't get to see what Birthright played before, so I'm not quite sure if Onic is also doing the same thing. But they did leave open the Matilda, which in the right hands can be a pain. And again, I'm guessing Birthright's going to have a little bit better of a tank than the last game, so I think it's going to definitely come in. But Onic kind of just running back their lineup from yesterday. They're cooking.
Yeah, they got their hands on the Suyo once again. They got the Gato Kacha flex into the EXP, flex into the roam, has the AOG, can cover a lot of distance, so can definitely soak up a lot of damage as well. So Sandbag already in place, and you see instantly that Alpha Matilda combination being pulled up on the other side, along with the Bruno to kind of kite and provide that extra burst damage with that Malefic gun. Right now, he's definitely one of the top gold laners in this current meta. And you see the Hylos being pulled up as well. So 3 beefy boys, once again, it's like Onic UA's signature. They always go with 3 beefy frontliners, and then you got squishy backliners to dish out the damage.
Well, this is the same, pretty much the same like hero picks that they picked last time. So they have an ideal. They understand that the synergy of these heroes are what they like to utilize. And again, it just happens to be what they're good at. But they are targeting gold lanes at this point because they do need a gold lane. I mean, Moskov is still open, so you might see that. It could be a good go because you'll be able to get away from the Matilda. You'll be able to keep up with the Bruno and lock him down, as well as keeping the Alpha away. So if they don't ban it out in their second phase, we'll see. But the Phobius and the Khalid taken out, Khalid is a monster, man. So I can understand essentially why they are targeting it. They still need an EXP on their side. Let's see what Birthright's last ban here will be.
Maybe a Herod, I'm thinking. It's got to be a gold laner, right? Because they take off the Beatrix. It's got to be a Herod. Otherwise, you're going to get... That's the only way that you can bully the Bruno right now in lane. You can be a problem with the Alpha as well with the Purify. And you can kind of counteract the Matilda. Not really, but you don't get countered by the Matilda as well. You don't mind being dove upon quite a lot. You can have the Purify. And you have you're a little tankier as well. So I think, yeah, it's got to be the Herod. They ban out the Herod right now. And I agree with your Khalid ban. He's an absolute monster. He can rotate as fast as fast as an EXP laner as well. But right now, looking at Onic UA's draft, they're probably going to go for a mid laner in the form of maybe a Vexana to get that control, maybe a Valentina. I'm not really sure if Valentina would be great, but a Vexana or an Aurora in this, in this point, just to make sure they can get that Frigid Glacier and lock up the Alpha like you spoke about. Ooh.
Yeah, they opt to go Natan. Interesting. I do think that they're gonna maybe one of these teams are gonna pick up a Valentina and a Vexana, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. It's gotta be a Vexana just provides so much control, right? Right now in the mid lane, you can control these team fights. Too much CC, you gotta knock up as well, and the burst damage is just insane at the moment. And it pairs up with the pick-off composition, with team fight, with sets, counter set. You can kind of defend well as well. So it goes well, the Vexana. I like the Nathan pick. I thought they would save it for the end a little bit more, but seems like they might be going for a Valentina in case a Faramis gets picked up on the other side as well. So I think they're thinking on different levels right now.
Yeah. And it'd be a good pick to be able to get the Natan as well. So, ooh, Yu Zhong hasn't been picked yet, and a Lilia. Yes. What in the world? They're spicing it up, man. BR had something prepared, and they're bringing the A game this time. Let's see.
Hey, they're repping the purple, But at the moment, it's just the fact that they got 2 picks that have been picked first time in the MESL so far, at least in the wildcard and the playoff section. It's the Yu Zhong and the Lilia. Yu Zhong to dive into the back line, of course. Lilia to zone the boy. The Lilia is a really good pick because you can kind of slow down the high lows. You can slow down the Gatot as well. It's a damage over time. You're just you're just slowing them down. Wait, what? No, you're kidding me. He pulled up with a Gushinji?
A Gushin in the mid lane, eh? They are just... What?
Hey, somebody call Sans right now. They're cooking over here.
What in the... Okay. This a wild game. I did not think Europe was going to bring this to me. The first time I've ever seen a Gushin in the mid lane while I'm casting.
Hey, I thought I'd never see that. I never thought I'd see that, at least not in a high-level competition like this, because right now, the way it's going, this Gushin, I don't see it working apart from the fact that you gotta pick off this Bruno with the Petrify, or at least bait out the Purify if he's going for it. But I think he should be going for the Flicker instead. So, I don't know. I really don't know how this Gushin's gonna work right now.
And draft-wise, I think I might have to give this up to BR. I mean, Onyx definitely picking something a little wild, I guess. I mean, hey, it's the first match of the series, so go for it. If you're gonna try something, try it. But you know, like, is this a risky situation? Is this something you want to do against Birthright?
I mean, it is game number 1 after all, and right now you're watching the MESL, folks. It's Birthright versus Onic UA. Game number 1, as you see, Silencer taken so low. He has the Shadow Blade that doesn't want to use it, but at the same time, you can see that this Gusion has to come in close to clear the wave. He is an assassin after all, G, so it could be a difference maker for this time. Ooh, Mark?
Yeah. I think he missed that mark right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess they're just wanting. I'm trying to like think of a scenario or why they're doing this. I mean, you're probably going to be able to catch the Bruno. You're maybe going to be able to catch the Lilia off guard and maybe get an instant kill and not allow her to use, you know, the black boots. So, I mean, we'll have to see. The Alpha's kind of squishy. Yuzong, though, from the side of Birthright, can really dive into the back line and punish Natan or Gushin, depending on the positioning of the fight. And I am seeing this a little. Rocco is kind of being put on the back foot here. You know, like before he used to be, you know, the aggressive tank getting in there. And we'll see. I mean, it's only the first, you know, 2 minutes into the game, but the positioning by Birthright's just good. Look, bam, Alpha's level 4 already. He actually didn't want to ult there, so I'm wondering what they're cooking up here. Maybe trying to force them to rotate back to mid and then take advantage of them.
Yeah, it could be because they're trying to prevent Rocco from getting the level 4. And you can see that Petrify coming out with the Furious Dive, and instantly Rocco is the first, the blood with the Black Dragon to follow. And right now they get control of the Turtle Pit. Just like you spoke, G. Seems like you got the crystal ball this time, but here, Rushik goes in with the Glorious Path to try and zone them away. Silencer comes in with the Shadow Blade, and Candace's trying to dish out some damage, but not there right now. He needs a few item power spikes before he gets it, and he gets taken down by none other than Danny himself, and instantly you can see My Lobby is the sacrificial lamb this time around, and the Turtle getting reset. That means they need a lot more time for the side of Birthright.
That was a little bit of an under-disciplined play there by Birthright. They really wanted to put the pressure onto, yeah, Be With Me and take his blue buff. I think he had it forced to retry, so he's maybe gonna have to pay here.
Oh, Rocco, but at the same time, we're a 4-man knockup, but you can see this Gushin paying dividends right now. He used the Shadow Blade Slaughter to pick up the kill, and Silencer silencing his haters who doubted this Gushin, us being one of a couple of them, but at the same time, it is a big gamble, and it could be only upward or downward from here.
Yeah, I mean, Onic was just able to punish Birthright on, you know, trying to overextend and you know, go for the blue buff. They didn't really get too much out of it. They ended up losing the Matilda and then losing the turtle and losing essentially 2 kills there for a turtle. And they didn't even get the blue buff, you know, so it was rough. I think they overextended on that blue buff, and now Onyx able to punish them for that. It's not too much of a gold lead, so that's just one wrong step in the direction for Birthright. They can still come back. They had great control into the early stages, but Onyx was just able to clap back with just better macro.
Silencer, he goes in with the sword. He doesn't have the damage, and this is the problem with the Gushin, right? You try and go in, and if Danny is able to bait it out early, then you can just use the Shadow Energy Bombs and slow him down because he has no mobility whatsoever. If he had the Matilda on his side as well, that could have been great. But unfortunately for them, it's on the other side. So I really still think this Gushin is... my eyes are still on that Gushin. I'm still surprised about that, G. But he's somehow making it work right now. And looking at the itemization, do you see something funny before this team fight starts? Never mind. They go in, Petrify, Furious Dive, they get the kill on towards Be With Me. And I think that was an unnecessary engage that he went for.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we'll see. They're still clapping back again. Onic not being too aggressive. I think they always make great plays and go for great situations. Boober there.
Yeah, Rushik taken low. Mark right now. AOG coming out. Purify to make sure he runs away. They get the turtle. and call it a day. Don't want to pick any more fights. They want to play with their advantage. Birthright, they don't want to let it slip.
Yeah, I mean, Birthright's doing something that we didn't see in the last game against Onic, right? They're playing over major objectives. You know, they went for the cabbage patch, they went for the turtle. I mean, they attempted to try to take a blue, but it kind of fell south for them. Right now, Onyx just looking for some type of take here, maybe some type of pick, but you just have great mid rotation by the jungle and a roam in the mid lane. So they're not just given too many situations to get picks like this, but there's one.
Circling
Oh!
Eagle to make sure he survives as well. That was really quick, but at the same time, Shadow Energy Bombs coming out, and you can see right now Pancrack goes in for the Entropy. Purify coming out from Urek, but he goes down with that Plate Surge. Danny's the next on the chopper block. He gets taken down as well. So overextending from their side, and that was the bait that came out from the Gushan. But once again, my lobby here, he goes on towards Rocco, and Rocco gets taken down. Glorious pathway to extend this team fight, but here he comes, the Black Dragon with the Petrify to try and zone them away to make sure that his team can survive, but Silencer just waiting for the opportunity. He goes into the Shadow Blade once again, but they just call it a day. They don't want to extend.
Yeah, they just don't have too many ultimates. What? Levi
Rusick
going
over here
in.
gets the Law and Order on towards the My Lobby, trying to zone them away with that Furious Dive once again. And I think it's just been back and forth. It feels like they're just testing the water so far.
They are. I mean, they were trying to get them into a position to be able to clamp down on them, but just wasn't able to. Rocco kind of being pressured here. Again, but they did take a tower in the top lane, which is a good set for Onic here, but walking into a bush.
Rocco, he has the Rage Bar full already, but there it is, the guiding wind to make sure My Lobby is able to get out of there. The Turtle trying to get started, the aggro in the favor of Birthright right now. Without both the junglers present, they're trying to bait it out, making sure who is the first one to bait out the spell. And you can see that Silencer just waiting, ever so patient for the right timing, the opportunity. Doesn't want to go in yet. He gets the mark on towards Danny. Earl reset once again. A glorious path to restart the fight once again. They go for the AOG. Catches My Lobby. He does have the Black Dragon forward, but he gets a 3-man Petrify knockup. And they go in at the same time with the Circling Eagle. Entropy coming out from Pancratch trying to show the damage. But at the same time, you can see the first one to fall is a Rocco. Meanwhile, My Lobby in the back line trying to shout some damage with Be With Me. And they get the turtle for Levi in Birthright. The damage is just being spread out everywhere. It's a chaotic team fight, but still not too much lost for the side of Onic UA.
Yeah, you had to give it up to My Lobby right there, right? Like he went into the back line, took Silencer though.
Circling Eagle, but Silencer! He picks up the kill on a killing spree right now, but they're chasing him hard, and he finally gets shut down by Urek. He's the one that his team is relying on so much, and it seems like he turned up today.
Yeah, Silencer has those plays where he goes wild with it. So interesting, but kind of back to what I was saying. My Lobby was just going ham. And again, if he can keep this pressure on Pankrat, the Natan, not allowing him to just dish out the damage, it's going to be painful for the side of Onic. But again, both teams are it's like a Rock'em Sock'em robot match at this point. They're just hitting each other left and right. You don't know which way it's going to go. But right now, we can definitely tell that Birthright has a little bit more sustainability on the side of Onic. And again, I mean, the game's about even. It's one tower taken on both sides. Economically, there's not too much of it. It keeps wavering back and forth. Levi might be. He did not get caught there.
Yeah.
Silencer!
Oh, meanwhile, the mid lane Silencer gets caught instead. The aggression coming in from Mark and Danny, paying dividends at the same time. Birthright finally trying to take some control, trying to get that goal lead extended. You can see right now Rusick gets caught out in the Furious Dive. My Lobby trying to shut the damage. Black Dragon has zoned them away while they're trying to get that tier 1 in the mid lane. Entropy comes out along with the glorious pathway. My Lobby still being a distraction in the back line. He bought enough time, but he gets taken down. But here comes Levi. He goes in with that Spear of Alpha AOG to make sure Rocco gets out of there, and the Revitalize to help him survive. While right now, you can see they're trying to get Be With Me with the guiding wind, along with Danny's trying to dish out the Shadow Energy bombs, but they call it a day. Don't want to fight anymore. It's still iffy to me, G, but I feel like Birthright slowly getting advantage.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely are leading into this Lord take here. I mean, the biggest thing is that both sides have all their ultimates, and there is going to be a clash possibly here. Silencer.
Yeah, they bait out the
Roxa.
black shoes. Rusick goes in for
Yeah.
the Glorious Pathway entropy coming out. The Lord is trying to take it out to quarter HP, but he gets the
Wow.
retribution, missed out. Levi picks it up. Faster fingers than Be With Me. And I think that's an expensive price right now. The Lord, it's not a Luminous Lord, but it definitely shifts control slowly.
Yeah, I mean, anytime I would have, man, there's no Lord takes my team would ever attempt like that. You never go to a 50-50 like that. You're all full HP, all ultimates are ready. Turn the Lord, fight it. Like why go to a 50-50, you know? But let's see if they can make use of this. They didn't lose anybody, so I mean they didn't lose the game for it, but
Lobby goes the back line dive once again. Oh, Levi gets a two-man spear of Alpha. A lot of damage being dished out left, right, and center, but the Revitalize is helping them survive. Silencer's the only one that falls down. Meanwhile, Be With Me is dealing with the Lord on the bot side, and you can see mid lane Holy Defense is procced, so is the top side, but Levi goes in with the spear of Alpha. AOG trying to connect, but they're able to kite out of there thanks to the guiding wind from Mark. Entropy to force them back, and they get the inhibitor that they were looking for. They might get the one in the mid lane as well. So damage done
my
from the side
God.
of Birthright, and Onic UA are staggered.
I'm telling you, they just took every tower. You know, they went from only having like one tower to now having 7 down for Birthright here. That is insane. That is going to be forcing Onic into some unfortunate situations. They might not be able to escape too much, and I think they're going to clear this right tower as well. Danny looking to apply a lot of pressure here. They are grouping up now.
Mark, he has the guiding wind, but Rushik goes in for the Glorious Pathway. I think he's eating a lot of damage by Danny. You can see that Shadow Energy Bomb's just taking him half, and he can't really do anything. He's slowed down as well, and with the guiding wind, he'll be able to kite back out, and he has the black shoes to add insult to injury. So now that tier 2 in the bot lane is basically taken, and now the next target will be that inhibitor before they get the Lord. And I think if they get this Luminous Lord, Birthright should probably take the game unless Onic UA can pull off a miracle.
Yeah, I mean, again, it'll come to the next Lord, but the real advantage that Birthright has at this point is that mid tower, right? They have escapability, they have reinsurance that they'll be able to, you know, get out of a sticky situation or force Onic into a sticky situation. But 20 seconds till the next Lord. What can Onic do here? They've been macroing really well and split pushing each side lanes when they're at a little bit of a disadvantage. Again, Natan's going to be coming online as we go later into the game, but so is Bruno, right? So we'll see who can make it out on top on this second Lord here.
Yeah, it's the Luminous Lord indeed. 13 minutes, 30 seconds into the game. They're trying to defend the top side, knowing that the long lane can't
Just gonna
be
give it.
dealt with by the side of Onic UA. Birthright claim this Lord like it is theirs, and Onic UA have no response whatsoever. He's trying to proxy the wave, Be With Me, but unable to do so because the attention of Birthright is on the other side. And now with the Lord spawning in about 11 to 12 seconds, G, you think this could be the possible end, or is there a possible way that Onic UA defend? And if there is, how would they be able to do it?
I mean, they really don't have a defensive lineup to defend a push, as we've seen a non-Luminous Lord just barreled through everything Onic had on the field. Again, I think it comes down to that, you know, Birthright just has so much sustainability that the Natan just can't pierce it. And then they also have to deal with My Lobby being able to dive into the back line. You can already see the gold difference here. Let's see if they can do it. The Luminous Lord is barreling down.
Yeah, in the mid lane, Entropy comes out. My Lobby with a Black Dragon. Right now, you can see Chaos fall down with a 3-man Petrify. Everything used at them, and they get the damage. Healers so much needed. AOG to try and prevent that happening. With the base crystal left exposed, the only one left is Rushik and Be With Me. The target is the one that they want, and that is going to be the victory for the side of Birthright. The base crystal destroyed. Quick game, clean game, and I think Onic UA on the back foot.
They definitely are at the back foot now since you mentioned it, because normally a lot of people were expecting Onic to perform much more solid in the previous game. Don't get me wrong, they were really very good, but over towards the end, it just seemed like they kind of constantly lost control in those fights, Aiko.
Yeah, I mean, it just came down to that they just couldn't stop Birthright's go. To be honest, like, I wouldn't have given up that second Lord, you know, like, but I think ultimately, like, their tactical approach of this situation was a little rough. I don't know if communication was a key. They couldn't get a grasp on what they wanted to do against Birthright, and Birthright just had full control over the map at that point.
I agree. And also at the same time, apart from just that map control, Chronos, I think so towards that gold lane now, you kind of have to agree with me over the fact that Nathan has fallen off really badly now. It just seems that Nathan kind of is not really working in these situations. We'll talk about that. We'll touch upon that point a bit as well. Let's have a look at the MVP in the meantime too for the previous game, and it is going to go in the hands of Mark, who was playing on that Matilda.
Hey, Mark did an absolutely brilliant job. You know, it's the Matilda, it's the hero, the kit. You got to understand how to play it. And he did a brilliant job making sure he used the guiding wind his team needed, especially providing that to Levi and MLBB, because they're the ones who were diving in, and especially MLBB, the Black Dragon form. And there were instances where he was locked down by the Gushin as well, but able to get out of there in this instance right now. And you can see that once they come in, the fight breaks out, and he's there all the time to try and save them. Oh wait, this is the one where he was in the base. Not this one, but in another fight. But you know what I'm talking about. He's able to dish out the damage early game, get the poke on, but provide the mobility for the team and be the distraction, or try and catch them in the backline directly with the guiding wind of the circling eagle to make sure Levi can cover the distance, which was what they needed. And of course, protecting Urek as well as Lilia in this game. So it was very well played, and I think it's just a matter of fact that they had a game plan that Onic UA did not.
Yeah, that game plan worked out really very well as well, Aiko. I know you want to touch upon those same points as well, but I mean, you Zhong into that EXP lane, I definitely did not see that coming.
Yeah, I mean, the Yuzong was a really good pick here. It dived into the backline. It did everything that it needed to do. It was sustainable. It was a menace. I think what really threw off all of us is Silencer, right? The Gushin pick. Like, look, you can already see it. 3, 5, and 0. I'm not sure what they were cooking up, but I don't think this was the right ingredient that we needed.
Okay, you've been very subtle with that one. I mean, I'll have to say it straight up, man. Gushin was absolutely not at all a good pick in this situation. Like, I do understand in certain situations where sometimes we have seen a Gushin being picked up in MPL Malaysia, but that was a couple of seasons back, like not even in the recent seasons. So I really feel that even though if you pick up a Gushin, it's more or less like he dives in and he dies. He'll probably get one, don't get me wrong, but he'll eventually die. And that is in a situation where no one peels him out. If there's someone who peels really well in the other side, I think the Gushin just becomes straight up useless of a pick, Kronos.
Yeah, I think the peel was there for the side of Birthright, of course, in the form of MLBB, Levi. You also have Mark, and then Danny has the black shoes. Urek definitely has the sliding tackle as well to try and catch him off guard. And in this case, Silencer, maybe the Gushin does work. I'm not saying it doesn't. You can see that he dished out 26% of the damage for the entire team, only behind Pancrat, and he's a marksman, of course. And it was 13 minutes into the game. But the thing is, they could have picked Gushin maybe in the later stages of the series and not as the first game, because it did not make sense here whatsoever. Who are you trying to burst down? You definitely can't burst down the Alpha unless you start snowballing. You cannot cast the Matilda because she has too much mobility. The Lilia has black shoes, like I mentioned, and MLBB is just the dragon. So the only target is Urek, but they're going to try and protect him as much as possible. So definitely not the game to pull out the Gushin. So whatever they were cooking, definitely burnt to the ground with that Gushin, for sure.
True. I kind of agree. I mean, I guess this backseat did not really stand up to his name, but maybe the other one might, if we possibly see him in the near future. I don't know, no one's liking that name, no one's going to pick it. Either ways, I'm just the only one in the Delhi loop. But here's the thing, Aiko, now this happened for the game number 1. What adjustments do you think we will probably see from Onic for game number 2?
I mean, we just need to see probably a proper mage pick, I would say. We just need something that was strong in the mid lane. They had a lot of aggression, but they just weren't able to capitalize on it, right? The gust just wasn't there. There wasn't a snowball. It was a constant back and forth battle.
Yeah.
And then when it came to actually having solid presence over a major objective like a Lord, they just kind of crumbled and fell apart. So again, I think it was Birthright just kind of read how Onic was playing yesterday, and then they just came prepared. It seemed, So coming into the second game, we're gonna definitely need to see maybe a little bit better drafting, maybe some more comfort picks from the side of Onic, because Birthright was just kind of flying through there.
I mean, we'll have to see a few changes out there in the draft though, Kronos, but that's the view of Aiko. What about you? What changes do you think they need to make?
It's the same thing. They gotta definitely change their mid laner, because we were talking about it in the draft, Aiko and myself. That you had the Vexana, you had the Valentina, the Aurora was still on the table, and why would you opt to go for the Gusion when all these picks were perfectly viable in this game? Especially given the fact that you get a lot of control, you get a lot of CC, you get the damage as well. So it's not like Gusion was trying to cover up for the damage. Yes, you wanted to get a flank angle, but you have the Suyo for that, so why would you really opt to go for the Gusion? It made no sense to me, to be honest. It just feels like they were experimenting or either disrespecting the Birthright, just saying that, hey, we're a better team, and maybe now with their ego getting checked a little bit, it's just a matter of time to show what they're actually capable of, and I think hopefully that knocked some sense into their head, and now they know how to season their food really well.
Yeah, probably it's going to be a testing water for the first one. Maybe we're going to see some adjustments for the second. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be jumping back into this game number 2 for this match 2 in this best of 5 series on MESL. Is it going to be Birthright to try and move closer to that match point, or is it going to be their opponents Onic moving up closer and equalizing the series? I know everyone wants to find the answer. Raiko, you're already ready, putting your focus back into the game. So it's time to lock in, boys, and jump into the draft.
All right, go. G the Aiko. You guys know what G the Aiko means? That means if you guys don't know that, of course, there's a big story behind it. I believe he told me about it. Let me remember. It's Gara who deserves a lot of love, or he gets a lot of love. I'm not sure, but it definitely revolves around a lot of love. And that's what he has to give for the MLBB community, of course, in Europe as well as in North America. And maybe we'll see him in other regions soon. We never know. But at the same time, you got him alongside me, Kronos. We're bringing the action. I know you can read our names, but we try to remind you that you try and support us whenever you can. You can do that one way by subscribing and liking to this stream, and of course our personal channels as well. And that will be a big shout out. You can see Scared Yet as well if you find them. Just make sure you show us some love. But at the same time, show these teams some love that are taking part right now. They definitely need it. Birthright on the red side and Onic UA on the blue. Onic UA made a statement yesterday. They got a lot of backup. You got a lot of fans backing them up. But you know what, G? People keep forgetting that Birthright have made fans from a very long time in Europe. So whenever there's a Birthright match, you can definitely see the viewers starting to spike up. So of course, right now with Birthright on the red side, one game in the hand already, they'll be looking to rally the troops and make sure to get the fans behind their back. And looking at the bans, once again, the Zushin is gone, and they still don't want to deal with that Belleric whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably going to end up banning the Edith again, not one to deal with the Belleric. It's a lot of heroes that have great control. So again, they don't want to see that, right? And then we're also seeing from the side of Onic, they're banning out a lot of mages, getting rid of the Yves, getting rid of the Yuuzhan. Again, great control, stuff you don't want to see in the lineup here. Now, they are on the first pick side, right? So they get to have a little bit of a prio pick this time around, and I want to know what they're going to go with here. I felt like they were strong. Both teams were strong last game. They came in, they fought, they were just going back and forth. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully Onic has something a little bit better up their sleeve this time around. Birthright just looking strong. I mean, they made a couple mistakes, but they bounced back.
Yeah, and I think right now you got they're trying to fight for some mid lane control, that's for sure, and they don't want to give it to the side of Birthright. You can see that they're definitely targeting down Danny, but he has a plethora of mid laners that he can pick from. So you can only narrow it down, but you can ban him out. So looking at what's available, you still got the Matilda, you still got the Phoveus, you got the Suyo, the Chip still not being picked up. He's still a broken hero. It's just your playstyle is completely different right now with all those nerfs. You gotta make sure you get that -1 whenever you're going into a team fight. And with the Suyo being taken off the table from the side of Onic, Birthright looking to. I think they should ban out the Matilda G. Like, it's just too much to give away. But they take out the Edith and let the Matilda slip.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. The Edith is definitely something you don't want to mess with. To be honest, I was surprised when in the NACT my team wasn't banning the Edith a lot. It was constantly facing the Edith. Just a monster pick, a lot of engage, but even the Yuzong was pretty good. Picking up the Fanny though, as a first pick, it definitely didn't get banned.
Hey, Jay, it's always exciting. When you're here, you always get to see a Fanny, don't you?
Hey, what are you trying to get at?
It happened today. Fanny is just too expensive. I can go on and on hours about this. Fanny is too expensive a pick to give away, and it is first pick material with how broken it is right now in the current meta, and you need to start, you know, countering it right off the bat, because with the changes that's there in the energy management of Fanny, and now looking at how the meta has changed into much more sustained kind of meta, you're not looking for the burst Fanny, you're looking for more of the War Axe Fanny, which is formerly known as the Bloodlust kind of Fanny, the Bloodlust build where you get a lot of energy. The more you go around, the more you can spam your cables, and that's what you're seeing right now. A lot of poke coming out from their side. But to counteract that, they got the Hylos, they got the Matilda. I know I got carried away a little bit. But on the other side, you can see that the Bruno for the late game and the Gato Kacha for adding the extra engage that dive with that Fanny as well.
Right. And again, I do like the Bruno. Matilda, again, left open. A great play. Birthright was able to utilize that insanely well. 100% win rate on this Moskoff. Again, a great pick. It's going to be an absolute menace if utilized correctly. I'm actually super surprised Onic didn't pick a Moskoff against the Bruno last time. So I want to see how Birthright utilizes that in this current comp. Now, going into the second banning phase, we're probably going to see some mages on the chopping block here because both teams need them. So again, banning the Phoveus. We're probably going to see maybe a Khalid ban as well because we don't have our EXP by Birthright. And again, a complete menace. We'll see.
Yeah, and this Moskov, again, just to counter the Fanny. You got the Matilda to counter the Fanny. You got the Hylos to counter the Fanny. The Moskov, and you're right, they're making it a little easier for their jungler, Be With Me. So they take away the Alpha as well. So the Khalid should be the ban here, given the fact that it is kind of better than the Hylos. I would say you can go toe-to-toe against the Matilda. You can dive into the back line as well. Khalid should be the ban, in my opinion. But they go for the Lunox instead. Like you mentioned, another mage ban coming through. You were not wrong. You were not wrong. Don't get antsy over here. But right now, I would think maybe a Martis or a Bane would be a good ban over here as the jungler.
Yeah, I mean, also Kufra is still left open, right?
But they got a Matilda, though.
They do have the Matilda. That is true. They could go wild with it, but I don't think so. I mean, Kufra would be. I mean, Rocco is definitely going to be on the Gata as well. So yeah, I mean, Kufra could have been a good play here for even the side of Onic, but you're not going to throw that into the EXP. Bane gets banned out. They're targeting a lot of jungles at this point. Interesting pick here. I mean, they already got their EXP then, so see what they go for. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, me too. I'm kind of curious what they're cooking right now. I feel like this Hylos is probably going to be in the EXP lane. And looking at the mid lane right now, they'll maybe go for an Aurora. But it's not an instant stun that you get against the Fanny. Maybe the Lilia once again to give that extra survivability. Or the Vexana to get that control. But honestly, and now I can just start saying every single mage's name, right? But they go for the Nolan as a jungler. Yeah, you can see that terrible win rate, 20%. I would say just don't pick the Nolan anymore. It's not it's not worth it. Every single game, you have a very slim win condition, and but luckily this time they have a Moscow for the late game.
Yeah, I mean Moscow plus they get the Matilda. I mean they're gonna be able to get away from the Fanny if the Fanny does come in. So it's a matter of how are they gonna catch it? How can they compete with it? And our last two picks here are gonna be probably the crucial ones in our lot. A good set EXP player might be able to stop that Matilda. We'll see a good CC. You got good control here on the side of Onic. Again, what is this mage pick? Why are they waiting so late
Yeah,
to pick this mage? Nice.
makes sense.
Simple.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, don't go with that Gushin or like pull up with the Cho in the mid lane. It worked, but you need magic damage or make it Gato mid lane. I don't know what they were thinking, but they said they probably told Silencer, hey, hold your horses, just pick the Valentina and play it. Don't get too excited right now. And on the other side, another mage, another mid laner. What could they go for to be a Faramis? But that's
Vexana would be good here.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
I'm actually surprised by the lack of Vexanas being picked so far.
I know, right?
Like it's just good CC and control, right?
Yeah, like I've been calling it every game. You gotta play the Vexana because it provides so much mid lane control. But in this game, they go for the Sicilian. It's not bad, but now it's the same idea that every other team with a Nolan has. You're playing for the early game with the Nolan, and what happens if the Nolan doesn't get the early game? You have no backup whatsoever. So this Fanny is definitely looking to go berserk in the early few minutes, and if she does, yeah, Birthright might be in trouble. So I would say it's a gamble picking the Sicilian, but Sicilian has been buffed quite nicely right now.
Yeah, I mean it's overall a good go. I like both drafts. Onyx definitely not, putting something spicy in the cooking pot this time around. But we'll be getting into the game 2, Birthright versus Onic in the MLBB European Seasonal League. I want to see if Onic can actually, bounce back from a first loss in the series here.
Yeah, I think they should be able to. You can see the aggression coming out already from Silencer and Rock. Oh, that was quick, wasn't it? That was a quick usage of skills to make sure Mark could have gotten terrified. But not having the cooldowns instantly means that they will have to wait. But my lobby trying to zone them away. But here goes Be With Me. He has the Fanny steel cables coming out right now. And you can see Rushik trying to dish out the damage as well. Oh, my lobby. I don't know what he was doing there. He has the guiding wind, however. Helps him survive. Even use the Revitalize. So he's not going to have that until the turtle spawns. So that could be an opportunity for them to pick him off once again.
Yeah, and we'll definitely have to keep our eye on the gold lane because a lot of control there. My lobby set back a little bit.
Ooh, a guiding wind again to help him survive. So Mark has been so far, he's been playing a phenomenal Matilda. Even the fact that he was MVP in game number 1 with the same pick. It might be a different story this time around with the Fanny trying to go in on towards the bot side, in towards Levi. Doesn't want to pick the fight yet.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a good setback onto my lobby. We'll have to see if he has the great control. Oh, Valentina's there as well. Probably going to take care of him.
He's been playing with fire so far. He's so low the entire time. He does have the regen to make sure he gets some HP back up. He's still able to get that gold, that EXP that he was looking for. Law and Order trying to be forced out. Mark is there to help him survive. Ring of Punishment to try and clear the wave. Nobody trying to contest the turtle yet. It's been a slow start for both teams, given the fact that they have assassins that want to get these kills in the early game.
Yeah, Silencer does have the Sicilian ult. Looking for maybe a good take here at the turtle. My lobby, dude, he's kind of low, but kind of not low. I don't know if he wants to go back or not. He's going to hold it here. This first turtle is going to make it or break it. The moment Levi shows in top, I think the turtle is secured for Onic.
Yeah, and you can see, oh my goodness, a knockup coming in, but the AOG catches him, and that is first blood. Danny falls down. Silencer should be the next one, but at the same time, Levi goes in, fractures the floor, and he gets that kill. Although with the revitalized Raka put on, they weren't able to survive. MyLobby trying to zone them away. We can see the Glorious Pathway come out. He picks up the turtle for himself and uses the steel cable. Fanny got out of there. The circling eagle to keep them in place. And there's the final slash to pick up the kill in towards Mark as well. Rocco falls down. Rushik here. Doesn't want to fight, but here comes the steel cable. And he gets the kill with that cutthroat. And this is what a Fanny brings in. Fast rotation, fast-paced gameplay.
Yeah, you got to give it up to him, right? He's level 6. So was the Nolan. That's going to set him back a little bit. Now he's going to be able to, farm some of that jungle. And then Birthright. I mean, they were able to secure the turtle, so it does give them a little bit of a gold lead. But losing your jungle is major at this 3-minute mark. Again, no, Danny.
Steel cables, you can see, gets caught in the Sanguine Claws. At the same time, there's the circling eagle. Will he survive? No, he does not. Bats Impact is trying to catch him. Along with the Wisps, followed him all the way. And to throw insult to injury, they throw in the Spear of Destruction. But Be With Me will fall down there. And at the moment, you can say that Birthright's starting to get control.
Yeah, now they're going to be invading on Be With Me's jungle, going for the red buff instead of the blue buff. A little bit of an interesting take, could have set the Fanny behind a bit. I guess they knew he was going to go for the blue buff first, so just a little bit of a hey, I mean, they didn't want to fight, they just wanted to take what they could, and they went into the jungle and stole away, right? Be With Me, does he not have his blue? I can't really tell in the bush.
He does.
Oh no, he's got it. Okay.
Right now. Ooh, he got spotted out by everybody. Here comes the cavalry for the side of Birthright with Danny just being there. Nobody can actually catch him at this point apart from the Fanny, who doesn't really have the damage. And I really want to take a look at the itemizations before the turtle comes up, G. But seems like they might go for a fight soon enough. Oh, and yes, they do. Silencer was playing with fire there.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tough situation here for Onic. Birthright looking very well, but look at the Arla!
Oh my goodness, what a final slash at the same time. Circling Eagle, AOG connecting, but the Purify from Mark to help them survive. They get the Turtle, Levi, and right now they're trying to draw off the rifts. MyLobby just being a distraction, zoned them out, used the Glorious Pathway, ran out of there, but Urek got taken down in the midst of the entire fight.
Yeah, I mean, Birthright was really low in that take. I think this is going to give Onic a little bit of a leadway, maybe able to, they're going to be able to take that top tower. There's no way a Hylos is going to defend that against 3 up there. Ooh, spear though.
Oh yeah, and if I was Pancrat, I wouldn't be there any longer right now because he's playing with fire, but he somehow gets that tower. And at the same time, now dishes out free damage to MyLobby, even with the Worldy. And you can see in the mid lane, Levi wants to catch Silencer off guard, but Rushik is there trying to help him survive as well. Sanguine Claws from Danny, not there yet. So just a matter of time, but here on the bot side, Be With Me doesn't have the purple buff yet. Wants to go in with the steel cables, but the Sanguine Claws gets them, and you can see Spear of Destruction not yet used, but the final slash catches 2, but the Glorious Pathway along with Guiding Wind helping them survive, and Urek picks up that kill on towards a hopeful Rushik.
Dude, just the sustainability. Oh, he's dead.
Oh my, yeah, what was he thinking?
Yeah, I mean, Raka was good. That was a good take there. Might be able to take the mid tower while Urek is down here taking the bottom tower. I don't think they have minions though, so now they're on the search. They might be able to catch Levi off here on a rotate into the mid lane. Again, Onic. Again, we're seeing everything that we've seen in the last match, right? Like, it's a back and forth battle. We're kind of looking at items here. Sustainability definitely picked up by Bruno. Now has the Berserker, so he has the crit. He has the damage and the sustainability at this point kind of come online. We'll have to see. And right now, Urek just doesn't have too much besides growth of Scythe, so we'll have to see. Again, this next turtle is going to make it or break it. MyLobby.
MyLobby goes in, circling Eagle as well. Delayed with that second rotation. At the same time, you can see right now, AOG trying to connect, but not used just yet. Revitalized, help him survive. MyLobby taken down quite low, and he will fall to the hands of Pancrat, who is 2-0-0 right now. This has been a game of low kills, but right now they're coming out for the side of Onic UA, and Silencer takes down Mark. as just as I speak, and now turning their attention towards the turtle. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Danny somehow still survives after the onslaught that came in from Be With Me, who picks up the turtle. And right now, Onic UA not running away with the goal lead yet, but they're able to get these turret structures. But oh my goodness, Levi went in, but gets taunted out and gets taken down by the volley shot from Pancrat. They're not able to get the mid lane tower just yet, but in due time, they should be able to.
Yeah, this is what I was saying, right? Like the Bruno is now coming online. The damage is there, the sustainability. He's able to survive in team fights, and they just really don't have an answer for that, right? My lobby comes in, and then he gets slowed in his own ultimate, and he's just getting piece by piece knocked down. I feel like right now, Danny is really the one that needs to come online. Mark has 2 kills as a tank, so again, they're definitely Birthright's on the back foot this time around. They're gonna have to take this Lord, and I think like, the Fanny's just kind of being a menace paired with the Bruno. So, well, we'll see. Ooh, Levi with a solo death into the top line. Be With Me.
Oh, meanwhile, in the mid lane, you can see Revitalizers are there, along with the Circling Eel, gets a 2-man knock-up, and the Bat Speed's coming out from Danny, trying to dish out the damage. But here comes Be With Me with the steel cables, trying to dish out the damage, but gets caught out in the wall by the Spear of Misery, and Urek making sure this Moscow's presence is felt in this game so far. Even though they got that solo kill, even though they are ahead, the late game definitely in the favor of Birthright for this one.
Definitely. Again, if the Moskov can come online, it can definitely be a menace, as well as the Sicilian. So Onic does not want to allow this to go to the late game, right? They're having a little bit of a trouble keeping that mid turret's health up. But again, I think this first Lord is going to make it or break it. They can't really catch Mark at this point. He is becoming a nuisance. And again, my lobby, they're setting up. This eye bush is a key to a lot of victories for some teams, so my lobby just kind of getting pieced apart here.
Yeah, oh, the final slash connects too.
But into nothing.
Right now they come in with the Bat's Feast as well, and you can see the glorious pathway from my lobby to get this party started. They're zoning them all out, and from the Lord Pit, you can see right now Rocco has the AOG, can go in at any single point that he wants. Angling Claws to get them back.
Wow.
Certainly Eagle is used. The Retribution comes out right on time, but here comes Be With Me. He has the steel cables. He misses, not able to go, but at the same time they lose Mark and my lobby, and right now Danny should be the next one, but Urek is there to save him with the Spear of Misery. But meanwhile, the eye bush, Levi was trying to get away, but Pancrat got a face full of volley shots to him, and now they're trying to take down this mid lane tier 1 turret. He doesn't have the Malefic gun yet, so not able to get that extended range. So the Lord marching down the mid side, but they cannot capitalize because they already lost 2 members in their team.
Yeah, if they can't stop Pancrat at this point, it's going to be deadly for the side of Onic. And again, they're just trying to grasp onto anything to be able to survive to the late game. You can already see that based off of the kills, like Birthright just doesn't have the kill ability to be able to take down Onic at this point. So again, Onic could be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more assertive. I think it was a good play by Birthright though to burn that Lord, because they seen Be With Me in the top lane trying to, you know, make a split push play. And if they were able to secure the Lord, that buys them even more time to get into this late game. And that is their objective at this point.
Yeah, at this point, that is definitely their objective. But will they be actually able to do so? Because it's being prevented by Birthright thus far. They're able to hang on, and all they need to do is hang on, because the longer this game goes, the more the Sicilian will scale. Although he's not having a great day, 0, 2, and 3, Danny right now. After a certain point, he's definitely going to start doing some respectable damage. As you can see, Sanguine Claws and the taunt coming out as well. The final slash is there. They get the mid lane tier 1 turret, but my lobby using the glorious pathway to make sure he gets out of there. And Be With Me right now with 1v1 against Urek, but still able to survive both of them with the slightest bit of HP.
Yeah, he's getting the sustainability. Now he just needs to get the damage. Levi kind of struggling against the Fanny, like you were saying. The Nolan just really doesn't show out. Again, all they need to do is make it in a late game. You can already see the Golden Staff and the DHS picked up here by Ulrich. So he is now online. And the Sicilian is almost built. I think he's doing Holy Crystal, if I'm not mistaken. He has the penetration. He just needs the damage. So again, Birthright's just at the tipping point of coming onto their power spikes. So that's what we have to watch out here for Birthright. Can Birthright get to that late game that they need to be able to keep Onic at bay? But the split pushing capability by Onic is just insane.
Goodness, the final slash
There
was
it
there
is.
in play, but Silencer got taken down, and Pancrat dishing out some free damage, but here comes the Circling Eagle. Doesn't want to commit whatsoever, so backs off instantly. They're happy with the one kill that they found on towards Silencer, because there's a bigger objective on the plate, a bigger objective on the map, and that's the Luminous Lord.
Yeah, and if you can secure that, I definitely wouldn't 50-50 this. Like, turn the Lord, force them to make plays like that. Look, almost catch Levi there, but my lobby now coming in. Birthright looking good. This is your advantage here, Birthright. Take advantage of it. Let's see, they're going to go after Pancrat here. Oh my god, the damage on the mark.
Yeah, it's scary, isn't it? It's quite scary, those volley shots, but look at the separation created, but the final slash misses, and at the same time, he go in, the knockup from the Lord is there. AOG trying to connect on towards 3, and it does. The retribution coming in from Levi right on point. The Fanny with the steel cables, but guess what? Pancrat is unstoppable. My lobby is the sacrificial lamb once again. But they did get the Lord, and they didn't lose a lot compared to the previous time, so they should be able to take a little bit of advantage compared to last time.
Yeah, and again, Uric just picked up the Malefic gun as well. Watch out, Mark.
Oh, Mark, not again. He tries to go into the circle. He came out from Silencer himself. Still survived with that shield. And you can see Pancrat doing some work on the Lord as soon as possible to make sure there's no more super minion waves to come through. But Uric over here, not able to escort the Lord whatsoever. And gee, I wanted to ask, usually you get to see a Sicilian go for the Lightning Truncheon, right? Instead of the Holy Crystal to get the damage power spike. And I don't know why, but you think that that might have hindered their damage capabilities this time?
It definitely does seem like it, but again, he's kind of getting his stacks up. I'm not quite sure what Danny's thought process is, but maybe there's something that changed with the lightning trench. But you can already see the damage is there. We just have to watch out. Uric has to come online, and he's just not able to be in the team fights, like key team fights that we would need him to be in.
Oh, Circling Eagle with everything thrown at them. The shutdown coming in from Levi. He gets a double, finally getting some damage online, and that's the triple that we're looking for. Steel cables from Be With Me is not enough. They take down Mark in the process, but guess what? They want to chase. My lobby is the one leading the charge this time. They get the top tier 1, and they'll possibly get the tier 2 in the mid, as well as the top side as well with the steel cables. The Fanny comes in. Danny here left in no man's land will get taken out by the cutthroat. The Purify is spotted as well. For what reason, I don't know, but he gets taken down by Be With Me. But meanwhile, the top side, Uric doing some damage to the tower structures. Silencer should get taken down. Yes, he does. Mega kill in the hands of Levi. And right now, Uric wants to go straight for the base. AOG comes out to make sure they try and survive, but their target is the base crystal. But oh my goodness, it survives with the slightest bit of HP. They get a full wipeout on towards Birthright.
What? Yo, that tower is hard breathing at this point. You can already see, you gotta give it up to Rocco, man. The ultimate coming in to CC and stun most of them. I'm not quite sure why they didn't maybe split up, but they all just kind of stood there, got caught, couldn't get to it, and it just needed one more smack onto the tower, and this actually might be punishable for Onic.
Yeah, you can see Circling Eagle is there. Be With Me goes in with a cutthroat as well, but still somehow survives Mark thanks to the guiding wind. Now the Lord is up, and the later you go into the late game, the Lord gets stronger, and so does Danny. Who's going to be stronger, Lord of the Sicilian? Of course, it's going to be the Lord this time around, but you can see right now everybody's back up, all spells back online, and this is definitely a neutral objective they want to contest.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to. You can already see the lanes are the biggest problems right now. Yeah, Be With Me is stuck in a sticky situation.
Yeah, Be With Me. He was in a sticky situation. No jungler now for the side of Onic. I don't know what he was thinking. It was not the moment to try and dive to get a kill, and he gets taken out. And right now you can see the Lord already half HP. They can't really do much, but they need to contest. My lobby zoning them away with the glorious pathway, and Rocco in the middle of it with the AOG will have to run away, and Mark leading the charge with the guiding wind. They go in for the final slash as well. Levi trying to dish out the damage. Not there yet, and Silencer will have to back off as well. So GG, well played from the side of Birthright, picking up the Lord, and not the right time if I was Be With Me to go for a pickoff. because now they get into the mid lane. Tier 1 is taken away. Lord March on the top side. I think this might be all she wrote for the side of Onic UA.
Uruk just picked up Rose Gold as well, so it's going to be a lot harder to take out this Moskov. They're going to do something here against the Fanny. And I know they can. She's low on energy.
Ooh. It's looking dicey with the Lord marching down top. They need the Fanny to do something for them, provide them space, but unable to do so. And look at that right now. Goes in, tries to do the same exact thing, but they forget that and they target the inhibitor. The Glorious Pathway being used as well. The Lord is already at the base crystal, but they want to target the base. And AOG comes out to create the separation. Immortality is popped, and they get the Fanny first up. A Spear of Destruction is used, but Pancrat doesn't have the damage. The Lord himself takes the base. The distraction was enough, and Birthright pick up game number 2.
Yo, that was a crazy match. Came down to the line there, scared.
It just caught me off guard. You saw me. I was not even wearing my headphones properly. I was just doing my own thing on the other side. I thought maybe it's going to go even longer. We're already seeing a lot of back and forth, but Aiko, it kind of feels bad seeing how well Fanny defended in the previous few minutes and then they lose the game like that. But Birthright making a big comeback now, equalizing the series.
Yeah, no, Birthright's now leading the series here.
Yeah, 2-0, scared. You gotta stop doing your side quest.
I've got to stop doing my side quest. It's a 2-0. It's a 2-0 Birthright lead. Yeah, you know what? I just got confused there a bit because of some of the predictions. I'll tell you, Rin has been in my chat and she's like, alright, this is going to be 1-1 and then the next one is going to be 2-1. I'm like, wait, what? Okay, it's 1-1. Alright. I got confused out there, man. I've been having...
It's alright, it's alright.
I need to sleep. It's already 3:27 here, though.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
AM?
Grind.
Yeah, that's AM. 3:27 AM. Yep, that's how the thing is. Keep just running it out, man. Running it out. You gotta do what you gotta do. But at this point, I think so. Onic also needs to do something because they are already in the deficit. So we'll talk about that in a bit as well. Let's have a look at the MVP of the previous game. Definitely Birthright doing such a phenomenal job in this situation, and Danny on that Sicilian just being a nuisance in the entire game.
Yeah. Again, he just had to come online, and that's what the whole goal behind Birthright is just to keep them at bay. You know, they kept stealing Lords, and it just came down to securing that late game survivability is all they needed, and Danny's damage was just insane.
True that. He was just making sure that he stays alive, right? Because you've got the Moscow, you've also got the Sicilian, so Urek and Danny, both of them, just a super solid late game lineup. I think so Onic had a perfect opportunity to try and close it out early, but the later this game went, the stronger that Sicilian and Moscow became, Kronos.
Yeah, and it's just the fact that they had the separation created by MyLobby. MyLobby did a lot of work in this game, especially early on. He was the bait that they bit on Onic UA. Really wanted a piece of the Hylos. I don't know if they like horse meat or not, but I mean, he was the target they were getting. You know, it's just the fact that honestly, they were after the Centaur's life entirely in the bot side, completely in the early game, and then in the mid to late game, he was the one that's creating the separation using the Glorious Pathway whenever these team fights were getting started. And then it was more than enough time bought for Urek and also Danny to dish out the damage in the backline. You can see here once again he does the exact same thing, goes in, baits everything out, and uses the Glorious Pathway to run away. Otherwise, he uses the Glorious Pathway to cut the path between the front line and the back line of exactly like what I'm talking about right now. The only one that's there ahead is not the one that's dishing out the damage, but there is a separation created, and that's more than enough for the side of Birthright to actually, you know, take advantage, take a neutral objective, and it was just a one-sided story from there.
Yeah, true. And normally I was about to, prepare my speech mentioning that if you pick Nolan, that means you're already in a deficit because Nolans have really not been working out for anyone. But I guess in this situation, at least in this one game, even though we saw Love struggling out early on, this time around, his Nolan eventually did the trick, was able to secure the game for his team as well with those Lords. Again, in terms of the neutral objective, he went in pretty decent in towards that mid to late game. But again, nothing taken away from Danny and nothing taken away from the high loss as well. Sandbagging for the entire team, did a pretty phenomenal job. But my question is, Aiko, do you think if the game goes this late, like 18 minutes, you stick with the Malefic gun or you try and focus on Malefic roar?
He needed range. They were definitely having trouble taking care of Pankrat, right? So again, both sides I think really needed range, and Bruno always needs the Malefic gun now. It's secure ability, right? And you're just able to stay alive and stay at range.
Yeah, I guess so. That kind of works out as well at the same time. But again, I want to look at the statistics as well for both of these teams. Specifically, I want to see how much damage did my lobby tank up. Because the man was just standing there. He was constantly soaking up everything. So I'm actually surprised he did not go for the blade armor, just to try and get a bit of that critical chance reduction so that Pankrat does not hit as strongly as he was. But I'm still kind of okay with that build. Just going in for that Rakel along with the Thunderbelt. He knew that he has to be that front line.
Yeah. He had to be that front line for sure. And you can see... Hey, I told you, my lobby put in work. He was working overtime. This guy was 40 plus hours in a week. And he better get paid that time and a half or times two. Because the way he went, 229,000 damage tank, 48% of the entire team. I mean, that's what he's supposed to do. But in that fashion, they were just after him the entire time. And oh my goodness, like he definitely was the difference maker. Of course, Danny was the one dishing out the damage, but he's the one that bought enough time for Danny to reach that point where he could dish out that damage.
I can't deny that. My goodness, Aiko, I'm kind of feeling bad for him that he could not hit that 50% mark. Oh my god, I'm such a bad person. But geez, I mean, you think about it, 48 is just way too high. But nothing taken away on the other side too. Rocco was doing almost the same thing. 30% damage tank for him as well. 135,000 too. But at the end of the day, it eventually came down as the battle of sustenance and the endurance, where Birthright clearly showcased that their experience is the one that has the priority.
Yeah. And one thing that we're really seeing from these matches, right, is that we can definitely tell both teams are fairly equal. But it's coming down to that Birthright is kind of forcing Onic to panic. And those panics are definitely, you can definitely see them in game. So again, I think Onic just kind of has to take a step back. I know that they were attempting to try to end the game, but any pro player knows that you can look and see if a wave's coming. I mean, you can understand that if you can push this or not, especially with the death timers and then the wave time. So again, Onic kind of just has to like stop panicking, clear communication, and they can beat Birthright. They have it. They showed it in the last series yesterday.
That is true. They definitely did show us yesterday as well, but at the same time now there's a big amount of pressure onto the members of Onic, right? Because we also heard Synth saying that Onic is actually a team that really is one of the top if you really talk about it, and he kind of put this team into the finals as well, that they'll also qualify from the playoffs, and it kind of seems that they're kind of experiencing the exact same fate that happened with Astral yesterday.
Hey, I'll tell you something about my guy Synth. He likes to make bold statements, and sometimes those bold statements don't work out to be true. That's why I said take it with a grain of salt. And you can see Onic UA, yes, they're a team that will surprise everyone for sure, but the way that they're going against Birthright are a consistent team, and they've been consistent in every competition so far, and that's why they're at the top. I can say this time and again, and that's why you can see that no matter what you throw at them, maybe definitely, like Synth himself said, they have to earn their victory, right? So once they earn their victory, definitely it will be an easier route for them. So now I can tell you that these two games, they were back and forth early on, and then Birthright just snatched it away, like, pulled the rug underneath the legs of Onic UA. So this could be a similar story, or maybe Onic UA just mentally tired, lack of confidence, not really sure what's gonna happen this time around, or somebody got to rally the troops and just get busting right straight away.
Yeah, maybe, but you know what? We'll have to see if Onic is going to be happy like this, or are we going to see them change their faces like this? And that's going to be figured out in the next, ladies and gentlemen, as we'll be jumping into the potentially last game of the evening. You all are watching the MESL, and this is Birthright up against Onic. Let's jump into this game 3.
Hey, gee, was he wearing a cape? Was he?
I
wearing a
think he
cape?
was. I seen
was
that.
about
He
to
was.
say,
He went
why
on an
you wear-
adventure,
why you-
man.
He's trying to be Superman or something. He's trying to tell everybody scared yet, man. I don't know. Don't work
He
like
was
that.
he was committed to a side quest.
he was. Forgot the main mission. But of course, the main mission for both these teams should be to progress into the MESL playoffs, which is gonna happen soon enough next week. If one of these teams will move on into the further stages, who is it gonna be? Of course, Birthright are just one step away, but Onic UA need to make that reverse sweep if they can. We've seen it happen before with CR7 and Extremely Slay. We've seen it happen all around the world, but at the moment right now, will Onic UA pull it off? Only a matter of time. But the way things are going, G, I know you're looking hard at the screen to look at the drafts. You want to talk about it. Is it possible for Onic UA first up?
Well, one thing that they did do that they haven't done is they banned the Matilda, right? Last 2 games, what is the most common occurrence? That Matilda was absolutely menacing. They couldn't handle it. They just couldn't catch key heroes that they needed to shut down or kill. And it played a major role in Birthright's overall comp. So they did not forget to ban the Fanny this time. So banning that out. One thing that they are leaving open is the Phoveus, right? The Phoveus is still open. I mean, you got quite a bit here. I mean, overall, we've seen the Gata being picked in every round for Onic. A great pick, but maybe try something new this time around.
Yeah, it could be something new that could work out for them, or maybe it's something new like they tried in the first game. Which one are we talking about for Onic UA? Because that first game, Gushin didn't really go according to plan for sure. So this time around, hopefully it works out. The Hilda being banned out from their side, so they're looking to go for an assassin once again. The Alpha is available. The Suyo is up for grabs as well. The Gato's there. The Phoveus is still available. The Khalid, we haven't seen it pop up quite often. So a lot of first pick material on the board, along with the Edith banned out. I was going to say Edith, but we've seen some teams go for a first pick Bruno. I don't think we're going to see that. They go for the flexible Hylos instead.
Yeah. Hylos, again, good. I mean, we've seen what my lobby was able to utilize that with last time. It was quite insane, right? So let's see. Do they pop Alpha and then the Eve? This is the first time we've been able to see Eve. So
yeah, Eve's good. Played earlier today, I think, in the previous series, but of course in this series, first time. And the Eve does get a lot of control in the game for sure. With the Alpha as well, so they're looking to play that kill box composition. But I feel like the Hylos already counteracts that with the Glorious Pathway. So I'm not sure. Doesn't the slow from the RWM gets canceled by the Glorious Pathway because of the speed up that he gets? The Hylos?
yeah, I mean it is, but again, Eve is like a really late game security, right? Like she'll be able to defend very well. And Onic's been constantly getting sieged, right? And it'd just be a good thing. But the Sicilian is a good play against her because he can stay at range and really target and hit her pretty hard while she's in the real world manipulation. So again, we'll have to watch out. I feel like the Alpha pick is going to be good. It'll be able to dive into that back line and actually, punish some of these heroes like the Bruno. We did see the Bruno just absolutely go online so early, so we do have to see some security in the early game here by Onic.
Yeah, definitely they need some early game. We see it in the form of that Phoveus, so it does well. So Phoveus, Alpha, and Eve, I think this is good to see from the side of Onic. They're trying to fight back. Of course, they got the early game secured with this. Not secured, I would say. The early pressure is still there with the Phoveus and the Alpha. They definitely need a little bit of roam presence right now because the Sicilian has more range compared to the Eve, apart from the RWM, of course. And it could be a problem with the Bruno again. It's been doing wonders so far in the entire tournament. But the ban's coming out fast, G. It's a Tigreal and a Beatrix.
Yeah, getting rid of the Tigreal is good. The Beatrix down as well. We got to really see what gold lane do they want to go with. Onic has not picked the Moskov much, and I'm not sure why. I'm hoping maybe this time around we're either going to see a Harith or we're going to see a Moskov, because it plays good here. That allows you to be able to, you know, split push and approach Lords. So maybe Birthright end up banning that out as well if they don't want to see the Moskov or the Harith. So we'll have to see in the second banning phase. Do we see the Khalid get banned? I guess as the Hylos has to be EXP. The Carmilla, I guess.
I mean, you know, lovers unite. Carmilla Sicilian works out. The passive is there to help the Carmilla survive a little bit longer. But the chip being banned off, that's something I didn't see come in, to be honest, because nobody really cared about it so far. But it does work out well with the alpha, with the shortcut. So makes sense. It's just that now the Sicilian, this Hylos, and this Bruno, there's a lot of damage on the board. And they do have the front line to soak it up, but they need something else to follow up. Maybe a Harith, like you mentioned. A Moskov does do wonders, helps them split push. But I still feel like a Harith would be a good lane bully to the Bruno. They go for the Gatot instead. I mean, Rocco's been playing it really well. So,
yeah. I mean, it's a good counter to get into that back line. But, again, the Bruno is probably going to punish them pretty harshly. So, we'll see. We'll see. The chip did get banned. Interesting. We've been seeing that slide through. No one's really ever picked it. So, I think they're just kind of throwing things out there. I think they should have went with maybe like a marksman ban instead of chip. But hey, it is what it is. We'll see what the last two picks are going to be here for the side of Birthright. I feel like, I mean, you could go Julian in the jungle. I mean, but you're going to probably want something maybe a little bit tankier.
Rafaela Bane, Usuyo.
He's been picked a lot.
Yeah, Suyo. I mean,
Suyo
Suyo worked. Suyo. Oh,
oof.
Man.
Oof.
Hey, my lobby was a beast on that. Not gonna lie. Right? He was.
And it's a good counter to Eve too, right? Like, it's gonna force Eve to get out of that. Oof.
Yeah, it's looking dicey for Onic, right? Already.
Yeah.
They better pull up with something really good over here. They need a gold laner. Honestly, I don't see what Nathan, if they go, I think they're possibly looking to go for the Nathan. The Beatrix is off. Yeah, I wouldn't either. The Moskov is there, but then
yeah.
Oh, Claude. Okay, it works. You can dive in. Oh, that's the first time the Claude has been picked. I'm surprised.
I wonder. Hopefully, he uses the new skin. You know.
Yeah, I like the new skin. You know.
Cost me 20,000 diamonds.
Jesus.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. Because I bought the whole M5 pass.
Oh my goodness.
But you know, Rich G over here, I had 150,000 diamonds, so no biggie.
Hey, he's just flexing his diamonds and his skins that he's got. And if you want to get those, folks, make sure you join the giveaways that's happening in the chat that at the moment and during the games, whenever they happen. There's a bot that's just gonna pop up and say the giveaway started. Make sure you put !play to make sure you join. You could win diamonds every now and then, of course, but at this point the draft has been set for both sides. It's game number 3 that we're gonna be looking at. Myself, Kronos, alongside me, GDICO. It could be the possible final game for the side of Onic UA.
Match point.
Yeah, match point it is. And will Onic UA look at the reverse sweep, or will Birthright take it away in a clean sweep? Only time will tell. Because, of course, G, looking at both these teams, both these drafts, which is the one that you're going for?
I mean, right now, I think it could be either or. I like both drafts, to be honest. I like the Claude. I think what really has to happen here for the side of Onic is that they just have to allow this alpha to scale. If they can get really good position and control by Silencer, they could possibly take out and put a lot of pressure on a Birthright. Again, the Claude could be an absolute menace and take care of Mark on this Hylos. This is the first time we haven't seen the Matilda in play, so this could be Onyx game.
Yeah, that could be Onyx game indeed, but I mean, Birthright will definitely be looking to prevent that with that late game scaling that they already got in their favor. The early game damage with that Bruno and that Suyo creating havoc, and My Lobby's been doing a brilliant job of the EXP lane, and Rushik was gonna get caught out there. That was a split second. These iframes from those heroes just making a difference right there. And you can see right now it's been slow. It's a slow start thus far, but definitely looking to get the advantage, Birthright.
Yeah, and again, Birthright having a little bit of control over the map. Yuzong as a menace kind of does punish the Phobius. Ooh, silencer low, Danny low. Good fight happening in the mid lane here. First turtle in 10 seconds. Let's see who can get this.
First turtle is almost up, and Danny not choosing a recall, and so is Silencer. They both want their waves to hit that level 4 power spike to make sure they get their ultimates, and looks like My Lobby got his. Danny not yet. The bot lane left empty. Here comes the Black Dragon to zone them away. Law and Order as well to force Be With Me out as they get the turtle, the side of Birthright, and now looking to extend that goal lead slowly but surely and take control of the entire game as well.
Yeah, again, it's still early to tell here. Right now, we do see Onic has the late game security this time around, but also does Birthright, right? So again, I think it's going to come down to, like I was saying earlier, we're going to need some key positions by Silencer. We're going to have to see Be With Me scale up and punish this team. Maybe catch the Sicilian off guard a couple times, but that only time will tell if that is the case. Birthright kind of just got to keep them at bay. We've seen that they don't need to get kills to win the game, right? Like, they were so far behind, but they had an executed plan that they were trying to go with, and they secured it, right? So I got to see Onic actually play a little bit more tactile here. Let's see if they can maybe get some really good key pickoffs and secure more of the turtles and lords this time around.
Yeah, I think you said it right. They don't panic. They're disciplined. They know their opportunity with their moment. It looks like it's My Lobby's moment right now. He got the Petrify, but gets taken down instead. First blood in the hands of Be With Me. So Onic, after 3 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, get first blood. So that's a long time. So both these teams playing disciplined and making sure they don't slip up, because it is match point for the side of Birthright and could be the end of the journey in the MESL for Onic UA.
Yeah, and again, we can kind of see the opposite happening on the side of Onic, right? They got a lot of pressure into this gold lane. That skin does look really cool. Wish I knew how to play Claude. But back to what I was saying here, Onic, they're definitely feeding the Claude. At some point, once we're able to get to look at some of the items, we'll probably see that the Claude is a little bit on the higher end side of things. Now, second turtle coming down. Who can get it here? Alpha is getting fed, right? He's 1-0-0. Let's see if they can keep that up. He's level 7 versus level 8. So they are tied now. Let's see who gets this turtle here, Kronos.
Yeah, I want to see this too. My Lobby has the Black Dragon. You could go in with the back line, but never mind. It's a little too late to get the turtle. Blazing Duet comes out along with the AOG and everything used and thrown at them, and Birthright will have to run away with their tail stuck behind their legs. And you can see right now Petrify comes out from My Lobby as well, but he will get taken down. Mark and My Lobby, the two frontliners, are down and out for the count. Rocco trying to zone Urek away. Meanwhile, in the top side, Pancrat will try and take that gold shield away, gets the gold crab in the mid lane. Be With Me, dishing out some damage on towards Levi, and definitely ahead as well. What? Oh no, they're both level 8. Oh my goodness, Pancrat was so close to getting that turret. Yeah, they're playing with fire. Onic UA playing a risky and dangerous game.
Yeah, they're definitely aggressive into this early stage, and we see that quite a bit. Right now, again, everybody's kind of online. Silencer, no one. Whoa!
Oh my god, RWM is there. My Lobby with that Black Dragon. He hasn't unlocked it yet, but you can see AOG to run away. Mark used that glorious pathway to make sure his team survived. And they did. It was lucky. It was a good set coming out from Silencer as well.
Yeah, but look at the clinch down here under this bottom tower. That was such a great play by Birthright, right? Secured that tower in the top, forcing them at their will of the game. And again, they're responding and they just know what they need to do here. Uh-oh.
Oh, Rocco gets caught out. Rushik is there. Oh, but the Petrify of the Fury Staff combo into the back line with the Black Dragon form. My lobby. Oh, and Danny with a Bat's impact takes down the Gato Kacha. Rocco's been doing a good job. Pancrat goes into the Blazing Duet. Rushik trying to zone them away, but will get taken down even after the demonic forces were procced. But right now, they're trying to siege in at this mid lane tier 1 tower. Be With Me is there trying to help them clear out the wave. No retribution. Pancrat is there as well, but Glorious Pathway comes out. They're trying to shove damage in towards the tower, but you can see Spear of Alpha catches 2, and they will have to back off because they don't want to bite more than they can chew.
Yeah. I mean, they were doing good, right? Like, this is a good turnaround. They've already taken out the tower in the top. That is going to give them, and then to be in a good position to take this turtle. Let's see, it's
AOG
a whole team here.
And right now, RWM comes out. Spear of Alpha is there. Well, but Sanguine Claws catches them, and the turtle gets in the hands of Levi, and you can see they take down Rocco. And instantly, they will back away because they got the advantage that they were looking for. Birthright so disciplined. My lobby gets caught out with the demonic forces, and they get procced once again. Glorious Path to try and create a separation, but my lobby gets taken down once again. In the top side, Pancrat gets free real estate and traded on the bottom side by Urek as well. So good play from both the goal laners.
Yeah, if they lose this mid tower on the side of Onic, it's going to be a little bit of a tough time for them. Again, we don't know if the Claudes come online. Silencer kind of getting picked off here by Danny. Danny's definitely being the MVP here right now for Birthright. A lot of control coming from him, and the damage is already there. Again, if they're able to catch Silencer, it could be a bad thing for the side of Onic. Birthright really needs that. We got a full rotation to mid, though.
Oh, yeah, you can see 4-man rotation towards 2. Oh, they don't want to press the advantage, though. They see it on the top and the bot side, and I think my lobby is the one that they were looking for. And not seeing him on the map, they decide not to go any further. I think they could have actually gotten the tower.
They're holding it here. Phobius actually might fall.
Oh, yeah, Glorious Pathway is there, and he does, and finally, my lobby comes in with a Black Dragon to zone them away. The tower is left exposed. AOG to make sure he can cover the back line and protect Silencer, but that's a big ultimate being burnt out already, and they got what they were looking for, Birthright, and they run away. Disciplined like always.
Yeah, they don't want to take a fight here right now. 18 seconds till the next Lord. They're, again, attempting to try to take another objective, and they're going to be fighting at this. Claude might be the next to petrify.
Oh my goodness, Blazing Duet comes out. You can see the damage is not yet there, but he's able to BMI out of there, and Silencer goes in, drop the RWM, but my lobby over here might get taken out with the demonic force, but Urek tries to shove the damage with that on towards Pancrat. That's a 1v1, turns out to be a 3v1. Urek left in no man's land by his team, and he will get taken down. So 2 trader for nothing in return, and Onic definitely in the advantage.
Yeah, Levi kind of into the position to maybe attempt to try to steal this Lord. You see a little bit of a pressure picked on here by Danny. The pressure is coming down. He gets stunned and he gets CC'd.
Oh my goodness, what an AOG right on time. The Lord gets the knock up, so Mark should be going down, and yes, he does. But Danny here has the damage trying to help him survive, so good trade for the side of Birthright. They give up their roam for the jungler. They can go for the Lord, which they're trying to do right now. Danny has the damage to dish out. No Bat's Feast yet, but here comes Urek, should be helping them take down this Lord a little faster. They don't have the AOG trying to catch it, but they don't. Here comes the Black Dragon. Silencer caught no man's landed. RWM was dropped, but he gets taken down instantly. And that is the impact that a Yu Zhang has in the game that we spoke about earlier, G.
Dude, Silencer panicked right there. You seen the panic in the Yeeves like face at the moment it happened. This is gonna be punishing for Onic, right? I mean, 9 seconds, 7 seconds till they come back. The Yeev is definitely one of the heroes that can defend quite well. I think right now the only thing that Onyx waiting for is Pancrat to come online, right? We need the Claude to be a menace here, but Sicilian is just being insanely strong here.
Yeah, Sicilian is the one that the quad has to reach because nobody else can apart from the Gato Kacha. And you can see right now they get the Winter Crown on the top, on the bot side. But Be With Me trying to survive. He's still able to know he is not. Gets taken down. The Lord is still on the top side. They get the tier 2s in the mid, in the bot side, in the top lane, and now in the mid lane as well. And without their jungler, will they be able to defend my lobby? Trying to zone them away. The holy defense are still there to be proc. Here comes the Black Dragon form to try and zone them away. Pancrat trying to deal with the Lord at the moment. And enough space created. But oh my goodness, he went down towards the turn. Aggro RWM is dropped. They get the kill on towards Pancrat. I don't know what my lobby was thinking. I think he didn't see the damage that he was getting in return.
Yeah, I mean, this was rough, but again, Birthright coming out on top, utilizing the First Lord to take one of the inhibitors is great. If they can get another one, that is a huge First Lord and a bad position for Onic to be in. And they're being aggressive.
Glorious pathways there, but he gets two-man Spear of Alpha along with the AOG, connects on towards Mark, but he's still able to survive, and he gets the shutdown Danny, who is on a killing spree, 306 right now. What well played. Disciplined team fights picked by Birthright. They get one and they go away. And I think that's the difference between Onic and Birthright. These Onic just overextending team fights, whereas Birthright are not.
Yeah, this is a rough situation to be in. But again, we can't count Onic out just yet because the Yve, again, like I was saying, she's really great at sustaining and you know, defending tower dives and attacks. So we're just going to see what they possibly do here. We do see a split push to kind of force Birthright out of their just waiting position here. Maybe they'll be able to get a tier 3. If not, maybe get a pick here. Pancrat definitely wants it. They didn't get it.
Yeah, they could. And I think you're right when it comes to defending towers, defending bases. Eve at the high ground definitely will have a bigger impact compared to the other heroes in the game because you can try to control the team fight, zone them away from the base crystal when they're trying to go. But right now, the Lord trying to get started. Mark with the Law and Order on towards Rushik. You can see Salmon Claws catches 2, but they get the Lord indeed. Birthright, the Glorious Path, they try to engage. They go for the back line with the Black Dragon form. Rocco with me, Pancrat. Rushik, Silencer, all trying to run away with the Fury Stab, but you can see AOG trying to connect. Rocco lands it. RWM is there to zone them away, but Urek is not in that kill box. And right now, they have no answer to the side of Birthright.
And they forced out the real world manipulation, so it's not going to be available for this to defend this siege. So again, they got what they came for, got a kill, and took away a lot of their survivability.
Yeah, Glorious Pathway, and they take him out. The only one that could have helped possibly defend the base is out of there. Be With Me along with Rocco. They take out Silencer as well. Pancrat, that's a triple kill. And oh my goodness, Birthright get a clean sweep against Onic UA. What a game, what a series. And that's why you don't count out Birthright.
On a 3-0, you talk about it. Birthright never out, no matter how down they are in the situation. In that game number 2, definitely they struggled. But apart from that, game 1 and game 3, they looked so very smooth, G.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, both teams were definitely formidable. Birthright definitely securing the throne there against Onic. It was crazy. I mean, I could just see Onic was kind of panicking in certain situations. They kind of just fell apart against Birthright. I guess they just ended up becoming their kryptonite.
Yeah, it seems to be that case. I mean, we were expecting quite a lot from Onic, and the only embers that we saw Kronos were in game number 2, right? Because even in this one, it just felt that this Yuzhong in the EXP lane was being such a nuisance. And we talk about it. Yeah, Yuzhong should technically not perform this very good, but guess what? They're making it work really, really well just because of that Black Dragon form and the range it provides you.
Yeah, I mean, it's free access to the backline when he goes with the Black Dragon form. That's the main thing that he provides. And I think my lobby was targeted early on in this game. They realized that this Yuzhong is a threat, so try to neutralize him. But even after that, he was still being a threat because, yes, this ultimate has a long cooldown, but whenever it's available, you gotta respect that, you know, the distance it covers. And, of course, the only threat towards the Yves RWM is there. So he's not even allowed to use the RWM at that point. So you definitely can say that he was a bit of a difference maker. But of course, I think Danny just did a fabulous job on the Sicilian once again.
I mean, we'll have to see if he's actually being the MVP for the previous game, or is it going to be someone else, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look at the MVP, and guess what? It's going to be Onic on that Bruno, and I think so. I might have to say that Bruno, you should technically ban it out with the way how he's constantly performing in that gold lane.
Yeah, I mean, once you get the Malefic gun, it's just like you have so much range and so much like pressure, and you're just seeing like 1 to 2 hits where like half HPing like some of the players, and then that's all they needed, right? Like then the team just kind of comes into Black Dragon form, goes into the back line, keeps them at bay, and we just didn't really see Silencer be a threat to them. They just had answers to everything that Onic threw at them.
That is true. Some good answers coming in from their side, and at the end of the day, it also comes down to that comfort pick. And Danny on the Sicilian, his comfort pick has been so very good. Kronos, you just mentioned about him as well, so I kind of want to have a talk about him too. His positioning, so very good. Technically, Sicilian should get outranged by an Eve, but still, his bat impact was so on point.
Yeah, his bat impact was really on point. He was able to scale up really well. And Urek's position as well, right? He was in the back line dishing out free damage. I think the only time he died was when he got really thirsty and went in 2v1 or 3v1 against them on the bot side, or a little early in the replay. But after that, he's just been an absolute beast along with Danny, and Danny didn't even die one single time. And there were moments where the side of Onic UA could have made a comeback, but unfortunately the Purifies coming in from the side of Birthright were not procced before that, and the damage is just already done. The turret structures are out of there, and Birthright just making sure they get the objectives after they pick up a kill, and that's what separates a good team from a great team.
Yeah, true. I agree with you on that part. It just seemed that all those basics for the side of Birthright were just so very good, so very on point. They knew the timings when they're gonna hit those power spikes, and at the same time, I kind of have to say, I mean, Onic picking up that Claude, Gutout, and Phoveus, yeah, you've kind of got that one full dive composition, but the Alpha could really not go for that snowball early that he actually needs, right? And we've seen in so many matchups, Aiko, whenever a Suyu is playing up against an Alpha, Alpha mostly struggles.
I mean, it's how it is. If you're not able to snowball with the Alpha, as we didn't see here, it's rough. It just doesn't do enough damage. Like you if you're aggressive with the Alpha, then you have no way out. It's a rough situation to be in. But to be honest, I think the Sicilian was like a major gameplay here, because like they were just able to lock someone down, and then Urik was just able to follow up and just decimate the team.
That is true. That is absolutely true. And again, Kronos 3-0 in this series. Birthright closing it out. We all expected this one to be a bit closer. I guess the previous series was the one we really expected to be a 3-0, but this time around, Birthright just storming through the entire game. And look at the participation of Urek in those team fights. He's got 93% participation along with Danny and Nark.
Yeah, I didn't expect that coming, to be honest. I mean, I did take a look at the fact that Danny and Urek's both scores were similar, and Urek actually died a single time. So I was surprised why Danny didn't get the MVP. But looking at the damage stats right now, you can tell why Urek got the MVP. Definitely the one dished out more damage. He took down the tower objectives. He was there in almost every single team fight, 13 out of 14. So definitely he is the one to watch out for, and rightly said as well. And I think we heard it in the interview that you had with the Wicked, right? He said it himself that Birthright are heavily relying on Urek, but guess what? He lived up to the hype, and he was the cornerstone of the team. When the team needed him, he was there and he backed them up.
True. I mean, we've been constantly also discussing the entire situation where, you know, if I remember, I was taking the interview of Wicked, and he also said that Birthright kind of relied too much on Urek, you know, that one player team. But today it just felt like Birthright, it was not a one player game. It was entirely the full team playing in unison together. where everyone was performing whatever they were supposed to, Aiko.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Birthright just didn't make as many mistakes as Onic did. Is what I'm 100% seeing, right? Like they were just great control, amazing. Birthright just, I mean, they showed out. They showed that they were just a better team. Congrats.
That's absolutely true. Birthright being the better team. Kronos. Now, we've got the top 4 in the series, right? We've got Light Cavalry, we've got CNQ. Now, Birthright have made their way. And again, we have Extremely Slay. That's the extreme, point which no one anticipated would actually be. That would be the team who would qualify from that. Everyone thought it's going to be Rain, but it just seems that all the predictions were probably went down in the drain. So all the people who probably put their money, who were betting out there, sorry for you, not gonna happen. But who are your going to be the top 2 finalists once we begin playoffs in the next week?
If you ask me, I still think it's probably gonna be Birthright and somebody else. Maybe Light Cavalry, but they probably went up with a different roster. I'm not sure about it exactly, but Birthright definitely one of them, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's Birthright and Extremely Slay, because they have the momentum right now, so they can actually carry on with the momentum and move forward, whereas CNQ and Light Cavalry have to start fresh.
That's absolutely true. They're the ones who will be starting fresh. So for CNQ and Light Cavalry, I also think that now, since they'll be having all the wards available for all the strategies that have been pulled out by these teams till now, the journey is going to be even more tough. So you've still got to have some aces up your sleeve. Extremely Slay in the interview also mentioned that they were not really expecting to win the entire series in a 3-1 fashion. They decided they're going to give their all. So I'm still having my questions if they've got something up their sleeves remaining. But for Birthright, I really feel that they haven't really shown us what their true colors would look like. Aiko, now again, you are here, you're also witnessing all these games. Who do you think are going to make it to the top 2? And I want to know the finalists. Light Cavalry, CNQ were the previous 2 finalists of the MEC that happened.
Yeah, I mean, from what we're seeing here, I mean, Birthright's looking pretty good. We can kind of look at the bracket right now. And again, I mean, I didn't get to see CNQ or LCPH go at it, and I was kind of watching a little bit of EXSY. So I mean, we'll have to see. I personally need to look into their games a little bit more. But from the series that I've casted, I mean, Birthright's looking pretty polished. They're definitely a team to watch out for. But who knows? I'll have to find out.
Absolutely. And again, it's going to be the 2 teams playing in the upper bracket, 4 teams to be specific. And since it's the double elimination, which you also mentioned, you will be having some additional chances. You didn't have any till now, but Kronos, now the competition is going to be even more tough for both Extremely Slay and Light and Birthright. Light Cavalry versus Birthright. That's going to be the first game of the next week, and then CNQ will play against Extremely Slay. I really don't want to say it, but with the way how Light Cavalry performed back in MEC, if I have to make a guess, I think so Light Cavalry should win that out, but series should go very close, 3-2.
Nah, I'm calling it. I think Birthright win this 3-1, and Extremely Slay probably take it 3-1 as well. Maybe you're gonna see like both the seeded teams in the lower bracket. I don't know. That would be exciting to watch, to be honest. Not gonna lie. I feel like that's gonna be the story.
Could be the case. What about CNQ and Extremely Slay? I think so. Extremely Slay.
Yeah, Extremely Slay 3-1.
3-1. My God. I mean, 3-1 is something a bit too extreme. I think so. CNQ still have got a possibility because of the experience that they bring on the table. But yeah, I think so. Light Cavalry and Extremely Slay are going to make it forward. That's what I personally feel. And over to the finalists, if we directly talk about it, since that series is going to be a best of 7. I think so. It's going to be between. Let's see, it's a difficult one to actually make a guess about. But I think so. It's Light Cavalry and Birthright. We'll see these 2 teams in the finals itself. I think so. Birthright are going to go to the lower bracket, and then they're going to continue their journey and win all.
I mean, if you ask me, if you look at Light Cavalry's lineup at the moment, it's still kind of fresh. In my opinion, Malfurion, just being picked up or coming back into light cavalry in the mid lane. Of course, he is one of the respected mid laners here in Europe. So definitely a player to watch out for in light cavalry, but I don't know about the synergy that would sit with them. CNQ still have Kulak in the goal lane, who is heavily relied upon by their team. So of course, Summer. How could we forget Summer, right? Summer has been one of the top roamers, of course, in the MESL. So far, it was the MEC as well. So maybe CNQ can actually pull it off. Now that I think about it, maybe CNQ can take it away from Extremely Slay as well. So let's see.
That's absolutely true. But again, now we'll be having a look at a few more things, right? We've been constantly seeing all these brackets, but you know what time it's going to be. In a while, it's going to be that interview time. I'm sorry I could not ask that question that you asked me to, get the answer of from Wicked. But I guess I'm going to ask the next one from, I don't know who is going to be showing up, but Birthright, they definitely will have a few things to say. It's going to be the second time we'll be interviewing them. They won their first matchup 3-0, and now they're also here. Again, qualified. So I think so. There would be a lot of things that would want to ask them. But Kronos, what's going to be your question if you wanted to ask from someone, and who would it be though? That's what I want to know.
Let me see. If if I wanted to ask a question, depending on who was here, of course, for Birthright, definitely. Maybe I think it's probably gonna be my lobby, but if he does come by, I think you might wanna make sure to ask him who gave him the idea for the Yuzhong, and of course, what did their coach say in terms of having the draft that they were going, because Birthright, like I said, they're not just a random team. They've been consistent throughout the year, throughout the many years, throughout many seasons, and they have a nice organized structure in their organization. So definitely, you're gonna have much more regular practice sessions, regular scrims. And I think, G, you know where I'm going with this. As you've been a manager for multiple teams, of course, top tier teams, and you know how much of a difference having a structure, organization makes to the players' mindset, the way that they play, having a coach. This brings different perspective, and all the players have to focus on is just playing the game. So that would elevate their gameplay to a different level. And I think it definitely, ask him about who's behind the scenes and how much effort they put in, because I know he definitely would give credit to them.
I agree. I'll definitely ask that one question. Where was this idea of the Yuzhong EXP dropped into their mind? But Aiko, I kind of want to spice things up here a bit. So tell me, you've seen the competition in Europe, right? So you've seen some of the top teams play here. How or where would you rate the two teams who have qualified right now, specifically Birthright and Extremely Slay, on the scale of North American teams?
I mean, to be honest, I feel like the European teams are definitely more disciplined, and their macros definitely really good. So be honest, it seems like there might be more teams here that are a little bit stronger than a lot of North American teams, to be honest. It'd be cool if we could get rid of the servers and all play together,
One big league.
Only. I mean, if only one big league, absolutely. The one big Western league, you talk about it. But here's the thing, boys. We've just got the confirmation that before this interview, we're going to be going into a very small break. But Aiko, Kronos, thank you so very much for showing up again. You guys being there on the desk definitely was putting all of the people out there on Cloud9. But my man, Aiko, any last few words before you hop on? And we'll see you in the next week, of course. But any last few words for this week?
I mean, it's been fun. It was good casting. This was crazy matches. Big shout out to both of the teams. They were both fighters. It definitely could have went into Onic's favor, but again, big shout out to Birthright for winning it and making it off to playoffs. Again, Scared, thank you for gassing us up and keeping us going. And Kronos, thank you for looking good, fella.
Hey, thank you, bro. Thank you. I learned from you a little bit there.
Oh my God, the bromance is continuing. You know what? Do it off the stream though. But yeah, Kronos, you can actually fly in that purple hoodie though. So any last few words before we hop off?
No, I mean, it's always a pleasure to cast alongside GD Aiko, and of course having you as a host, Scared. and at
Thank you so much.
MESL. And thank you to everyone that's involved in the production team. And of course, to the audience that's watching, make sure you enjoy the gameplay and, get going on the chat, go crazy, and try and win those giveaways if you can, because I definitely want a peace of mind. So, yeah.
Hey yo, people, be quick on your keyboard, right? Because Kronos will steal that away. But you know what? We're not gonna be stealing the fun of interview away from you guys. So make sure you stay tuned. We'll be going on a break for about 3 minutes, and we'll be back with that interview segment from the player of Birthright. This has been GD Aiko, Kronos, and me, Scariad. We'll be signing off for now, but I'll see you guys in 3 minutes.
All right, chat. Much love to all of you guys that tuned in. You guys want to watch this interview? Guess we could finish it up. Watch the interview. My phone is hot as hell. What the hell? Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I was streaming the whole time, yeah. Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to MESL, one of the biggest MLBB extravaganza of Europe. And this time around, we've got the interview segment, and with me on the desk is going to be my lobby from Birthright. My lobby, first of all, welcome to the desk. How are you doing after that big win? Your team has qualified for the playoffs. So how are you feeling?
Hello to everyone. I'm feeling good. My team feeling well, I guess. Yeah. That's
yeah.
I think he's got a stripper pole in his room.
Also, hello to my haters. I have plenty of them.
Okay, that's a pretty cool way to begin. That's a very cool way to begin. You know what? Since you're saying hello to your haters, I might want to ask you, is there any message for all the people who doubted you and your team to make it to the playoffs? Is there any message or something you want to say to them?
I mean, I don't really mind if they hate me or message in some of the servers. That's fine for me. I think that's fine for my teammate. It's only give us advantage to win these games, I guess.
I mean, I kind of love the fact how subtly you answered that question too, while also respecting everyone. And you know, there's so many times we always talk about some teams that are very difficult to deal with.
My dinner's
Did you
done
think
too, so
that
I'm
there
hungry.
was any team up till now that you faced that were actually very strong, or any player that you had to prepare against or watch out against? So, was there any team or player that you thought they were actually a threat to your team?
You mean in this specific one tournament, or?
Yeah, in MESL.
I guess that's what we play against these Ukraine guys. They are really show good performance on yesterday, very good discipline, and I think that was a little bit threat for us, but we managed to
Crazy.
beat them 3-0.
Yeah, you are probably one of the only team who has not yet lost a game in the entire brackets. So that's
Yeah,
actually a pretty big
exactly.
feat to achieve. So congratulations to
Okay.
you, man, because
Thank you, thank you.
Birthright, yes, Birthright is now coming up as one of the favorites as well, because you'll be having your matchup against Light Cavalry, if I'm not wrong. So wish you all the very
Yeah,
best for that at the same time.
that means more haters will be for us, so no problem. We can handle
More
that.
haters? Yeah, more haters means more motivation for you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so do you think that your enemy had enough game knowledge in terms of the entire meta, or they were just lucky till now? So do you think they were playing very good, or they were just lucky that they got easy opponents?
Yeah, as I said, they play really good. They have really good
Uh-oh.
coach, I guess, because that draft they made was really impressive. The Belleric pick, Thomas. I mean, I'm talking about yesterday game. Yeah,
Ow. Shit.
they was
Right.
good team to play versus.
That's actually pretty nice, because yeah, normally we would see players saying, yeah,
My
they
cat was
kind of got
attacking
lucky,
me,
but
chat.
you're actually a very humble guy, my lobby. I really respect that. So I want you to be brutally honest now for this question. Do you see your team as the best team in the tournament? And do you think you would be able to win against everyone in the playoffs?
I think we definitely a top tier team in Europe, maybe in MENA as well.
The fuck?
We show you that we're very good on macro and knowledge about the game. We also have really nice coach that help us a lot with the draft
My
and
cat's being
everything.
weird.
That Blackjack, I want to shout out him as well.
All right, that's sweet. That's
All right,
sweet.
chat.
And
We're gonna
I
call
like
it
the
a
confidence as
day,
well.
man.
Plus, again, as I
Call it
said,
a night.
you're
I'll catch
still
you
being
guys
very
later.
humble, so we all
Much
respect that at the
love.
same time.